Ladies and gentlemen, I got to stand for this. Ladies and gentlemen, today is a paramount day. The Lord has shined down upon. Oh, now we're getting. I think you got to close it on your tab here.
Oh no! Wait. Oh, whoops. Okay.
The Lord has shined. Okay, this we tried a bit, but
That
you know
was
what?
on me.
Sometimes bits don't work. But the Lord shined down upon us. Jesus saves everybody. Jesus saves. Jesus is here. He's come back to life. He's come back to save us, to atone for all of our Tam sins, Ari. It doesn't matter about this Albert Rusnák debate. It doesn't matter about anything. Listen, what matters is Jesus. And we have him literally legally signed to the team, allegedly. Well, not completed. Reportedly legally signed. So there you go.
What up, everybody? How was that for an intro?
Thank you, JP.
Happy New Year. Thanks for tuning in. Got 28 people. Give it a sec to let people trickle in. Thanks for bearing with our slight delay on getting live. We're still learning the technology, but we're getting there. But yeah, we got a banger stream tonight. A lot of news with the Seattle Sounders that we're going to be talking about. Some of you may have heard about it, but Jesus Ferreira deal is reportedly a wrap. He is a Seattle Sounder, reportedly, and a lot of people are actually very unhappy about that.
Really?
There's
a contingent?
Yeah, well, I don't know about a lot of people, but certainly a vocal minority. We're gonna talk about all that. We're gonna reminisce about the Leo Chu era, which has come to a close.
Dude, I didn't even remember that.
Yeah. And then, but there's other stuff going on other than this trade too. I mean, Albert Rusnák is reportedly coming back as a DP. We know that there's a contingent that's unhappy about that. JP's coming back. That's some news that took place since the last time we did this. There's been more discourse flowing on the Jordan Morris potentially getting DP status debate.
It seems as though that is gonna happen from what is being reported by the one and only Sounder Art.
Exactly. And then there's some transfer news from around MLS that we're going to get into too. There's been a lot of moves, a lot of them pretty meaningless, but there's actually some big ones. I was just looking at the transfer tracker now. So we got a lot to get to, but I mean, should we just jump straight into the Jesus takes?
Yeah, maybe before we shill, we do a little shill for those.
Oh yeah, I forgot to shill.
You know, for those who aren't subbed, sub to the YouTube. It's literally free. It's right there. You're watching the live stream. If you're not subscribed, you're an op.
And we're charging on the road to 1K subs, which we really want that, both like for the symbolic nature of it, but
it's for the money.
Also,
it's for the money.
Also, once we hit the 1K, we unlock like more ad revenue or something.
We're going to spam you with 7,000 ads
because we'll get money for that. So sub to the channel, help us get money. Join as a YouTube member. We have like 10 or 11 at this point. Definitely sub to sounderheart.com/ls if you haven't. What else do I need to show here?
I don't know. I'm just posting a tweet. Did you say shout out to Full Pull Wines?
Shout out to Full Pull Wines. We're hopefully having a couple more sponsorship meetings actually in the near future here. So if you want to sponsor Lobbing Scorchers, hit us up. I got to send out a little tweet too. Oh, also, well, not really a tweet because I'm on Blue Sky, and I've kind of made the switch. No, I'm pretty much made the switch at this point. I don't really like doing two of them at the same time, and I've been enjoying the Blue Sky experience. So follow me on there if you have not done so already.
Thank you, JP. I mean, I don't know how you know when my birthday is, but I appreciate it nonetheless.
I am sending this out right now. Hold on one second.
Here we go. Ari's going to type. This is going to be, oh, look, he put his mic down. I'm going to commentate over Ari Blue Sky. It's going, it's going down right now. Folks, it's going down right now. Live. Lobbing Scorchers. Jesus saves. Jordan Morris, a DP, question mark? Albert Rusnák.
All right.
There you go. I don't know. That's my...
All right. Yeah. Chat, go ahead and get your trade takes in. Let's get the discourse flowing. I know there's a lot of takes out there. So we're going to be getting into it.
Yeah.
Disc Golfer, YouTube member, shout out Disc Golfer. Jesus on TAM is pretty dope, honestly, especially with that TAM spread over a couple years, like Oshan said. All right, that's a good place to start.
Should I pop up the article?
Pop up the article. Subscribe to Sounder at Heart, not you, them, but
well, I'm buying 3 more subs now just because.
That is a good place to start because we talked already a lot about our thoughts on this potential deal, but we did not know what the return was.
Yeah,
we know what the return was now, reportedly, as relayed by Sounder at Heart. So let's talk about that to start it off here and just give our takes on if we think it was a good deal. Details of Jesus Ferreira trade finalized. Sources confirm. A package that includes GAM, an international roster spot, and Leo Chu. That was the player involved, Leo Chu. And it turned out to be $2 million of general allocation money in addition to that international roster spot, which is a lot of GAM. But I guess, Noah, that's the first take that I'll give on this, which is that, there's been a lot of talk of how much GAM is too much GAM.
Yeah.
Did the Sounders give up too much GAM? What is GAM?
What is GAM?
For anyone wondering what is GAM, I'll explain it to you right now. It's actually very simple. People think that these rules are complicated. It's actually not complicated. GAM is fake money.
Got it. Okay.
It doesn't
like Monopoly?
It's essentially monopoly money.
Got
Who really know what does 2 million in GAM mean? I don't know. I don't really know what any amount
and you work
of GAM
for
means,
the GAM.
and I work for the GAM. So if I don't know what it means, then 2 million of it, it could be 2 million of it, it could be 3 million of it. I'm not gonna know what it means. Yeah. So
wait, I'm starting a new conspiracy theory here that MLS pays its players in its own like currency. Back in the mining days, they would like pay them money where you could only go to their own general store and then buy stuff from that general store. You know what I'm saying? Like the mining town money. Does anyone know what I'm saying? Am I going insane here? Charles,
real quick, why you name yourself Lobbing Scrotchers? Well, that's not technically our name, but I will give the backstory on the name because people do ask us that sometimes. Lobbing Scorchers is a reference to, it's a double entendre, scorching hot takes, and also scorcher is a term for a great soccer goal. So it's both things.
Company towns, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Honestly, it was because I couldn't really think of a name and I needed one.
I feel like it was pretty good when you came up with it. I was like, okay, that's a little bit of a cook.
It was nice. Yeah. I think it really we've kind of taken on the identity.
Yeah.
Okay. Back to
Jesus.
Back to Jesus. 2 million GAM international roster spot, Leo Chu. So naturally, the first question is, was this too big of a package? Was the compensation about right? Honestly, I would say that it's about the package that I expected, except I really was not sure that they would be able to get Leo Chu as part of this. His value is down right now.
Yeah.
So I think anybody who follows the team knew that the end of the Leo Chu era was on its way sooner rather than later. And I think if you can get a player like Jesus Ferreira back for him, I mean, you do that every time. And I guess that was that was my first discussion topic that I wrote down here, Noah. I wanted to pose a question to you. You can give your take on it.
I'm ready.
I'll give my take on it. So this is how I was thinking about this. If you or I were presented this trade at the start of the offseason we knew the compensation, someone told us, all right, Jesus Ferreira is going to be one of the moves that gets made this offseason. The package is 2 million GAM, international roster spot, and Leo Chu. Would we want Craig Wybes to take that or decline that?
You want me to start with that one?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm putting on my Craig Weibel hat right now, and I'm thinking, could I get one of the best young talents in the league, a World Cup starter, someone who is had a down season but a up career, upside galore, a DP that's like, you know what? I don't need DP money. I need grinded out money. Oh my God. Dude, I'm taking that 100 times. I saw a lot of comparisons to the Leo Campana trade. and we all saw my rant that I went on last time. I got a little passionate, and I heard Jeremiah's take on it on his most recent podcast. He said, honestly, this is a way better trade than the Campana trade. I don't know if I agree with that, but I will say it rocks. It bangs. If this was presented to me at any time, I'd be like, hell yeah. When I even saw he was rumored here, I was like, if that's a DP, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I seriously was fine with that. And, you know, people were like, you're thinking too small. And I'm like, I really don't think so. I think this is a great player. And for the price that they got him, it's insane. It's so good. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah. So that was the whole thing, is that I think the general consensus was that as a DP, people didn't really like it. But if they could get him on a TAM deal, people were more amenable to it. Some people still don't like it, but I think that contingent is like, they weren't going to like it no matter what. But to answer my own question, if you told me before this offseason about this deal to get Jesus Ferreira, I would tell Craig Wibes. I mean, I don't have his number, but I would say he has.
You'd find him at the pinball machine.
He has to take it. Like, this makes the team better. This is an obvious upgrade over Leo Chu. Jesus Ferreira's footy is much more advanced than Leo Chu. It's much more advanced than De La Vega.
Yeah.
Like that's, and for me, you know, you mentioned the World Cup starter aspect of it and all that. Like, I don't think, for me, you don't really even have to look any further than his MLS track record. Do you know how many players in MLS history have scored 53 goals by the age of 24?
Zero.
Well, one.
One. I mean, no, zero others.
Zero others. It's Jesus Ferreira. That's it. That's the whole list.
Mm-hmm.
So you added a player with a proven track record in MLS that still has upside to be tapped, and I'm excited to watch him to see kind of how he fits into this team, because I do think there's at least a possible outcome where his game gets elevated playing with the likes of Albert Rusnák, Jordan Morris, and the whole gang. So I know I like the trade, Noah.
I love it.
I like.
I don't like it. I love it, Ari. I mean, seriously.
I think it's a good trade. There's a lot of people. The anti-trade contingent, though, they said that it demonstrates a lack of ambition. We've got more ambition discourse going on. We got ambition this, we got ambition that. We've got this team does have ambition. Seattle doesn't have ambition. If you trade for Jesus Ferreira, you got no ambition. We're going to get into the ambition discourse. Unfortunately, I have plans for that. We'll see if it happens tonight. I might bust it out. Folks, I have created.
Bust in case of emergency.
Okay, so all right. I'll just let you guys all know this right now. I have a problem. I have a problem with this ambition discourse. I think the word ambition has gotten to a point, especially in these last 4 or 5 days, where it has lost all meaning. People are using the term, but there is no criteria or definition for what that means. So I actually took it upon myself to create a formula.
Oh yeah, this was fire. That
rates clubs' ambitions. It's very scientific and mathematical. I'm a big time math guy. So I've actually, every team gets a score out of 50. And I have actually rated there's the ambition table. There's a trophy case tracker. It's a whole big thing. So, we're going to get into that eventually. That might be a topic for another day. But on the, I guess on the general topic of ambition, the Jordan Morris news and the Jesus Ferreira news.
Before we jump into the Jordan Morris thing, let's see what our contingent has responded here for what they're thinking. Oh, wrong one. Good deal. I don't really know what GAM is, so it doesn't exist in my mind. And Chu, we weren't going to get much for him, and we weren't going to use him anyway, so that's a good deal. We can talk a little bit about the Chu wrinkle as well, but can't sign a DP the rest of the season?
That is not accurate, because of the potential accounting mechanism DP move that there. This is the thing about the Jordan Morris DP thing. I
saw a good comment about this in our YouTube. Did you see that guy?
Yes, and I was going to bring that up because our commenter Puget Sound Waves said it better than.
Should I find it?
Yeah, find it. It's on the it's on our video. But this is what people need to understand about the Jordan Morris DP thing is it's an accounting DP, okay? This is being talked about as if the Sounders were like, Jordan Morris scored 13 goals last season in league play, and we think that is so awesome that we're going to make him a DP.
We'll start with this one from sorry.
That's not what's going on. That's not what's going on. Bring up the Puget Sound Waves.
Here it comes.
Comments.
I'm bringing
Here
it up.
Comes.
I'm bringing it up.
Puget Sound Waves explains what is going on, and maybe this will change how some of you think about it. I feel like every commenter doesn't understand what this means, referencing Jordan Morris becoming an accounting DP. It means we aren't going to sign a new DP this winter window, so make Morris a DP for half the season until the summer transfer window where we sign a new DP. That will allow us to save game that we would have had to use to buy down Morris' contract if we didn't make him a DP for half the season. And yes, while that is disappointing, we're not signing a DP this window. Summer is where way more players are available.
That post was written by Craig Weibel himself, by the way, and you can't prove it wasn't.
But that's my read on it as well. Like that is the thinking behind why they would do that. So it does not necessarily preclude them from signing a DP in the summer window. So my thought on it is where the roster stands right now, if that is indeed the plan to sign a new DP in the summer, then I think I'm okay with the notion of going into the season with Ferreira, Rusnák, Jordan, and you build the attack around that, and then like Puget Sound Waves pointed out, you take that tag off Jordan, and then you're able to bring on a player in the summer window, which, you know, I know a lot of people don't like to wait, like they would rather get it done now. I get that. I do think like Seattle people, as much as anyone, have seen how it pays to wait on those sometimes. It does. Famous example, Nico Ladero. Remember 2016? They went into the season. Everyone said there's this big obvious hole on the roster. How irresponsible it was for them to not make their signing going into the season. And then that team, the 2016 team, was cratering until Ladero got there. But they were patient. They waited it out, and they brought Ladero in, and that worked out pretty well. So while I agree that I would like there to be a bigger, splashier addition in this window going into the start of the season, I also think this is okay, I guess.
It's like, tilting.
It's tilting. I get that it's tilting, but it's not as like outlandish or I don't think it demonstrates a lack of ambition.
I think that it's calculated. I think that it's tilting. I think it's frustrating. I think that it's like, as a fan who doesn't really, a lot of fans who don't give a shit about the business side of it, they don't care. And like, honestly, yeah, I'm gonna just say it. Like, Jordan Morris as a DP, whether it's a accounting mechanism or not, is kind of criminal. It's kind of criminal. I mean, I do think he's a good player, but I don't really think he should ever have a DP tag on him. That's going to be my take. Jordan, I love you. You know I love you, but that's crazy. So man. That's crazy. That's crazy.
That's the conventional wisdom that
and I'm not
seems
saying
to be
they're
going
wrong
on
for doing it
out there. But I guess I just we were talking with Nico about it last time, and he was given a take to a similar effect. I guess I see that a little differently. Do I want Jordan on the roster as a DP? No, like I agree that I would rather have him not with that tag than have that tag. But as far as like what you got out of the player last year, he came one goal away from breaking the all comps goals record. So you could have a DP forward that's not him, and if you got that production out of that player, you would be happy about it. So this idea that he's like nowhere near DP quality, he's definitely near it. I think he's like a really good TAM player at the end of the day. But
I mean, you even talk about how important and like game-changing a designated player can be. If you bring in the right player, it can take a middling team, a lower table team, to a team that's competing for trophies. I mean, it is the game-changing spot. And for it to go to someone who effectively is just using it to like maybe shuffle some coins around because you were really not smart enough to plan out your roster multiple years in advance, I think that's a problem. And I don't think that the specific I was talking about this with the anti-Rusnák brigade, so please bear with me. I've heard it all. I think that if Jordan Morris was an accounting DP and you didn't sign Albert Rusnák back as a DP, I think it'd be fine. I think it would be fine, right? But it's the fact that you have both of those together. Like if you didn't sign Jordan as an accounting DP and you signed Albert as a DP, I'm cool with that. It's the fact that they signed Albert back as a DP and then they signed Jordan as an accounting DP, potentially, allegedly in a video game. But it's like, that is like, oh my God, like I understand, but how do you not plan that out?
Yeah, I mean,
that's malpractice a little bit.
I understand why people are tilted about it. I guess just when I think about the actual, like what's going to happen on the field, like people are talking about a Jordan Morris, Jesus Ferreira, Albert Rusnák attack like it's like a huge joke, and that Seattle's the San Jose Earthquakes for that. I think that trio is kind of nice. I think that plays in MLS.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not going to play. Like, let me be clear. Like, I still think that I think Jordan Morris will score more goals than he scored this year. I think he's going to be just as productive. I think he's going to have a huge weight lifted off him if he's playing with Jesus Ferreira. Like, I think you have that. The team's going to be good. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying they're going to be bad.
Well, so how do you square thinking that Jordan Morris is going to exceed his goal total from last year with him not being close to DP quality?
I'm not saying he's not DP quality. I'm saying that if the argument is he is a DP because of accounting mechanisms, that is poor planning and poor management to let it get to that point where you're like, I'm just going to toss him on a DP tag because, I don't know, save some fake money. I'm not saying that he doesn't have high level production. I'm just saying he's been on TAM and was producing that. He's been on all of this other stuff. And then, like, if they did elevate him to a DP, I wouldn't even be upset alone. But it's what I'm saying. It's like, it's combined with him being a DP and now re-signing Albert as a DP. That's like, those two together, just like, I feel like it morphs into this pot of just not it for me.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people have voiced similar concerns. Some people think it was the worst trade of all time to get Jesus Ferreira, and that the team is a disaster with Jordan Morris as a DP. I'm not sure I see it quite like that, but Brando says he is just max TAM for me. Yeah, I mean, I agree ultimately, but I mean, I'm willing to see what happens in the summer window,
I just don't know what you do. Like, what if he goes off? What if he goes crazy? How do you then approach it? Be like, I'm going to buy you down.
Well, then you're getting the production that you need anyway, so it doesn't matter.
But like, what if you have the opportunity to sign someone like a Griezmann or like someone that you've been scouting that's going to have this massive impact? I'm just saying it I don't think I'm being clear. I like Jordan Morris. I want him on this team in whatever fashion and capacity he needs to be. But what they've set themselves up to do is have zero flexibility, potentially, and just tilt all their fans. Like, I just feel like it's really poor planning and like forward planning from the previous seasons. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. So it's more about the like roster management aspect of it as opposed to the player.
That's a good idea. Make Nuhu a DP.
That's how to ruffle some feathers.
I'm with it. Could they sell Morris? Yeah, I mean, absolutely. If he, like, let's say he pops off and someone in the championship again is like, hey, we want him. Sure. And I'm not shitting on Jordan, by the way. I see some people in the comments saying like, oh, I'm shitting on Jordan. I like Jordan. I like him on the team. I was literally sitting here evangelizing, saying he should be the starting 9 the entire season if you listen to the podcast. It has nothing to do with Jordan Morris or his production. My comments are mostly pointed at the front office and the decisions that they decided to make with roster management.
Well, okay, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't this whole thing like supposedly triggered by him like incentives that he hit. So it's
that
not,
has not been reported.
oh,
Well, I'll
okay.
just say that. But I think that I think that it's fair to assume that
Surmise.
he reached a state in contract negotiations due to his production.
Right. So I mean, in that case, it's that would be to me like an instance of him earning it, really. Like if you put those stipulations in and they hit it, then you can't turn around and then be like I mean,
but I feel like that's what I'm saying. Like he 100% earned it. I don't want anyone to think he didn't earn it. I think he earned it. It's the front office being like, oh yeah, like we know he has this stipulation in his contract, and then not thinking like, oh, he could actually hit this number, get it, and then you're like, okay, we just shelled out a DP, and then we're gonna re-sign Albert Rusnák as well, and now we don't have an open DP spot. You can't get rid of you can't get rid of De La Vega. You're not like maybe you could get rid of Morris. No, maybe this season Albert could have signed somewhere. If you keep him another season, I don't know what his stock's gonna look like.
is
So.
JMO a real DP at any other MLS team?
San Jose.
Yeah, there are a lot of bad teams out there.
San
like
Jose.
I know what you're trying to say, but I think the answer to that question is yes. Not because he is like amazing, but because there's some not good rosters out there.
Disc golfer, bang on. This is exactly what I'm trying to say here. Yeah, I would never hate on JMO for earning it. I would hate on the FO for backing themselves from the corner. And that's all I'm trying to say. I love Jordan Morris, and I actually hope that he basically bams on me and talks shit to my face. I would deserve it. But like, I really do think that they put themselves in a corner here, which they seemingly continue to do over and over and over again. And it's just needling me, Ari. It's just needling me.
Yeah, I get it. Jesus and JMO have played on the national team together. I think he and C7 pushed for this. Yeah, I think that's another factor here. Is it's not only that he has extensive and proven production in the league. He has played with Jordan and Christian quite a lot with the USMNT. They have a lot of reps together. There's going to be some built-in chemistry in there. And I think like stuff like that, the track record in the league and the fact that he's played with a couple of the players before, those are things that in theory make it like a higher percentage move. A lot of the backlash to this move is because it's a player that's already within MLS. I literally think it's the exact opposite. That makes it a better move because MLS is it can be a hard league to adapt to. And when you bring players in from outside leagues, the percentage that the signing is going to hit is way lower. It just is because some guys aren't up for whatever it might be, the travel, the physicality. There's a lot of variables to playing in this league that not every player is cut out for. And definitely not every player just slides right in like Nico Ladero and dominates off rip. Like that's just usually not how it works. So I think there's something to be said for both making a bolstering addition from within the league where you have a player that you already know is up for it. Like ask J. Rue about it. Exactly. Exactly.
Real.
What an ambitious
signing. What about
an
Pirlo?
Ambitious signing. LAFC, the 2 goals that they got from Olivier Giroud are just examples of the type of ambition that the Seattle Sounders could never hope to achieve. Signing 37-year-old Olivier Giroud for 2 goals, But yeah, he didn't really he did not pan out, and that's what happens sometimes. People need to take a breather, go touch grass, and realize how privileged we are to have the club we do. Yeah, I mean, I try and point that out as much as I can, especially like with the all this talk about ambition and lack of ambition. I would I try and keep in mind the fact that I mean, all these clubs that are supposedly more ambitious, when the chips were down, when the chips are down, it's not like they've won as much. So I don't know. It's something to keep in mind.
I'm super happy about the club. I love the club. I love watching this team. I don't give a shit if they win, lose, or draw. I'm watching the game. I'm here talking about it. It's like we love watching. We also love chirping, and that's where we're at. But I do think people can get lost in the sauce, Albert Rusnak Brigade style, where they just obsess over one small little thing. And for me, my frustration with the front office is year after year after year of doing weird shit that I don't understand. And then it's like, okay, like I don't get it, but if you keep winning, cool, I guess. I'm gonna still, talk about it.
We don't need Giroux or Griezmann, but we should be going after Paintsills and Pecks. That is true.
Banger.
That is I mean, you're speaking to our heart right there. But yeah, like, so this is what I'm saying though, is if they're able to wrangle it so they could sign a player of that ilk in the summer window, I would be happy with that
for sure.
And we just don't know what's going to happen with that yet. So
too early to tell.
It's too early to tell. And we're by the time that window rolls around, we're going to have, this is another reason why waiting to the summer can be good sometimes, is you have a better idea of how your team plays and like the types of profiles of players that you should be adding at that point in the season, when you have like a sample size of games to look at, more than going into the season where like you don't really know how Jesus Ferreira is gonna fit yet, or
if he'll be healthy.
Yeah, or if he'll be healthy. So they should theoretically have a better idea of what type of addition they need by that window. So curious who you think will be the 2025 version of Paul Rothrock for the Sounders. In other words, an unproven player stepping up and exceeding everyone's expectations.
Brodilio.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, I'm going Brodilio. I'm just so curious to watch him, and he basically missed this whole year because of injuries. He showed enough with Defiance that they signed him, so that would be one to keep an eye on. I could see him having a Georgie type season this year if he's actually as good as they think he is.
I want to note one thing, because someone asked me why I'm wearing a New England Revolution shirt, which Ari asked me the question.
No, why are you wearing a Revs shirt?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's because the New England Revolution drafted an incredible player in the Super Draft who goes by the name Eric Howard. That's right. Seattle kid. He's really good. He played for Georgetown. He won them the Big East title. And I also was really, really, really good friends with his brother in high school. So I'm repping the Rev shirt, but I'll also say because Clint Dempsey.
It's a sick shirt. I think they should have kept that logo.
I miss the crayon logo, dude.
That was a good logo.
Also, it's just a sick shirt. I love this. I have a Metro Stars one too with this same design.
Do you think it's possible we sell Obed this window? Club America are reportedly interested, and we could definitely get big bucks from them, especially because he plays for Mexico now. Craig Webb said that they're not. He said that I think the way they're thinking of it is that if they keep him through the next window, he can hopefully increase his value even more and kind of use the Club World Cup as a platform.
He wants to go to Europe.
Well, does he want to go to Europe, or does he want to go to Liga MX?
No, he's always kind of said that he wants to go to Europe, and
I've heard him say he wants to play Mexico too. So
I genuinely do think that the Sounders are gonna, allegedly, I would say if he does go to Mexico, they're gonna have to pay a premium on what someone from Europe would pay.
More prospective buyers in the summer too.
Yeah. 100%. I think it makes more sense. And to go back to the point of like shopping for your DP in the summer, I'm cool with that. I agree. So if they do this Jordan Morris accounting thing and then they swap him back and pull someone up, you guys clip me, tweet it at me, blue sky it at me, tell me I'm an idiot. I will eat my words.
The Leo Chu era has come to a close.
The Leo Chu era. I'm bringing this couch closer, Ari. I want to be closer to you.
Pour one out for Leo Chu. He is off to the thriving metropolis of Frisco, Texas, to play for FC Dallas. Noah is moving the furniture in my apartment and knocking stuff over, so we're gonna have to.
But doesn't that look so much better?
That actually does look a lot better. You're less elf on the shelf like that.
Yeah, I feel like I'm equal.
Kind of an unceremonious end to the Leo Chu era.
Wait, can we play some dramatic music?
I think, honestly, I think that's another reason that this Ferreira deal was a good trade, because you had to move off Leo Chu this offseason if at all possible. And they got a team to take him. They had to, throw in a lot of GAM as well. But Yeah, the Leo Chu era never. Man, this is some of my worst takes that I've had on this pod. I remember when he was balling out a little bit that one year. He was fine. It looked like he was finally actually breaking out. That's the thing. Like there was a couple stretches where it looked like it might be happening. You know, people talk about him like he was a zero the entire time. That's not totally true most of the time, but he had I think it was like 5 and 8 that year, and it kind of, you know, he had the 4 assist game, so those 4 assists like don't count obviously. But this last year, it just, you know, there was he had the beef with Schmetz, right? He every time he got subbed out, he would be upset about it. He was always injured. It feels like it's the type of thing where if he goes to FC Dallas and breaks out, people are going to be like, what a terrible, why didn't Seattle? It wasn't going to happen.
It was never going to happen.
It was not going to happen here.
I wish him well.
I hope he breaks out for FC Dallas. I'm definitely not going to harbor any like Seattle should have kept him. Leo Chu going to turn into the new Fabian Castillo.
I'm here for it.
That's a great name drop. And I was thinking he is kind of like the prototypical FC Dallas player, isn't he?
He really is. We were talking about
like
that. Yeah.
Very like physically gifted, and you see it in flashes, but just like no end product and ultimately not that productive. Fabian Castillo, he was good. Him and Mauro Diaz, those were probably the best FC Dallas teams. But yeah, let's see what they do with that $2 million a game and the international roster spot. I think like from the FC Dallas perspective, they kind of had to do it too if the reporting is accurate regarding the falling out they had with Jesus Ferreira, and just they're kind of in a rebuild at this point. You know, new coach that they stole from New Mexico United. So I was certainly on the Chu train at one point, but he seemed to take a huge step back for whatever reason. Yeah, I think some of it was like injuries. He wasn't really healthy this year. But
you can't really,
even when he was healthy,
beef.
There was a few guys beef with Schmetz this year.
Well, I
Leo Chu, Rui Diaz, and Nuhu.
I think, but here's the thing: when you're Nuhu and you're starting every single game, you could beef a little bit. You have a little bit of room to beef. If you're Raul and you're a club legend, I think, and you are getting slighted. Like, I think his grievances were kind of valid. I know he wasn't playing well, but like, allegedly, according to some reporting by Sounder at Heart, he was very unhappy with the communication he was being given. He was like, I would be fine not playing, but like, you just got to tell me. And then, you know, Leo Chu's just like been sitting on the bench twirling his thumbs, and he's like, oh, these two dudes are fucking pissed. I'm with them.
Chat, if the Sounders actually sign Griezmann, will you all be happy, or will you call it a retirement league signing?
Ooh. Can we do a poll, or is that a thing on here?
I don't know. Give me your responses.
All right, type 1.
I would be
type 1 if you think it would be a retirement league signing. Type 2 if you think it would be a banger signing.
Okay, we got one person who would be happy. Yeah, would never happen, but would bring people to the games. The only reason that I think it might happen, we talked about this on the last stream, but the only reason that I think Griezmann might actually come to Seattle is because he's boys with Julio. That's it.
He is boys with Julio.
That's the chance Seattle has.
He's a big situation. NBA head though, so I mean, we, like someone said earlier, I'll find the thing, that we don't have a basketball team, so he's not going to come here. Yeah, here we go. We don't have an NBA team. Griezmann wouldn't come to Seattle, which I think, like that's true. Not yet, but
it's fun to talk about.
2026.
I would love to have him on the team. Like, I don't care about the retirement league. Like,
I think everyone's in agreement that they would be stoked to sign him.
He is a sick player. All right. Should we get anything else to say about the Ferreira trade or the Leo Chu era? Or
I mean, in honor of Leo Chu, we have to remember his best game and one of my favorite games of all time. Sounders at Sporting Kansas City, where him and Jordan Morris just decided to bang in.
That was
3 goals.
Man, like, I remember how we were talking after that game. We were like, this could be one of the most electric duos in all of MLS. 4 assists in one game, 4 goals, all to the same guy. I mean, wow.
We thought he broke out there.
We
really
did.
did.
I
We were like,
did.
oh, he's here.
I think you tried to calm me down like a little bit, and I wasn't having it because it looked like it was happening. It looked like it was happening.
I just didn't buy into the hype. I was a hater. Sometimes being a hater is like, it pays off, you know?
Jesus is going to ball out. Am I an idiot? No, he is. Like, he probably is. That's the thing about this is I think a lot of people are they live on paper, right?
Correct.
They don't live about like what happens on the field. They live on paper.
Stat
when this
merchants.
player actually integrates with the attack and this team and the games start and we actually see what happens, I think a lot of the takes are going to go out the window. And like, I don't want to definitively like predict that, but the guy is a provenly productive player in this league. Like, I seriously doubt that he is going to come to Seattle where he's playing on a better team and forget how to shoot the ball.
Someone said this is the best team he's ever played on. Like, yeah.
I mean,
better than the U.S. men's national team. I can tell you that
by quite a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, the U.S. men's national team is the third best team that he's ever played on.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
I've seen Dallas genuinely has more trophies than the U.S. men's national team. So that might tilt some people.
Feeling good about Jesus, especially as a non-DP, but is there reason to worry that this might be the big signing of the window, which would make me less excited?
Congratulations. It's the big signing.
It is the big signing of the window, but there could be moves to be made in the summer window. Which I understand that's not exciting, but
it is exciting though. He's a DP. He was a DP on his last team. I don't understand getting a DP to say, fuck it, salary cut, I'm gonna grind it out. I don't understand. That's a banger.
My message on this stream, the thesis of this stream is that it's okay to be excited about Jesus Ferreira joining the team.
Yes.
You don't have to be self-loathing about it and having a meltdown about how the team has no ambition. I mean, it's
talk about self-loathing. I feel like we should transition into the Albert Rusnák becomes a DP. I know we hit on it a little bit, but I feel like I want to get your full take on it.
Yeah. So reportedly, this hasn't been announced yet either, has it? No.
I think it's been reported.
Per Nico Moreno, I think, had the scoop of Sounder at Heart. Albert Rusnák is about to sign a multi-year designated player contract to return to the Seattle Sounders. He will be a DP. So, I mean, the brigade is not happy, needless to say. But it's not even just the brigade. I think a lot of people also didn't want him on that tag. I mean, again, I think he produced like a DP last year. I like watching him play. I like how he runs the offense when it's actually running. And to me, this is all about upgrading the pieces around Rusnák and Jordan Morris, who were your two most productive attackers last year. Like, I don't really understand like how the leap gets made sometimes, where the guys who basically were scoring and assisting on all your goals, the guys who actually produced, it's like their fault,
right?
When they were producing what they needed to produce, the pieces around them were not. So that's
hit the one on the bottom. Hit the one on the bottom. Up one.
Rusnák doesn't run an offense against any team he turns in. Okay, actually, I'm glad you brought this up. Because this gets brought up a lot, and people think that they're making a good point.
Albert goes snack.
Well, okay, and this also gets brought up by people who don't like Jordan Morris. They say he stat pads against bad teams, and he ghosts against good teams. So I investigated, guys. I investigated to see this was actually true. I went through his match log. I mean, first of all, like the notion that Jordan Morris and Albert Rusnák haven't produced in big games is just not accurate.
Yeah.
I mean, Jordan Morris, he has won a lot of trophies. He's won a couple MLS Cups and Champions League, contributing and scoring goals for all of them. I mean, he scored a big goal in the 2016 Western Conference final. Was that
Do you guys not remember this one?
Was that not a big goal?
Turn, bang, LAFC.
Well, yeah, and then that's the
We're talking about like back to the goal.
that's the other thing. Like
Turn, bang.
that, I don't think the LAFC goal, like if that's not a goal in a big game, then like what is?
Can you
But anyway,
imagine?
this is more.
Everyone was tilted that they lost to the Galaxy. Imagine if they lost to LAFC, they wouldn't even have been there.
But so this is what I want to say about the ghosting against good teams thing. I was going through the match log and I was realizing that there's only like 4 teams in this league that people consider good, like that people consider valid competition. So let's talk about what those teams are. It's Inter Miami, it's the Columbus Crew, I think FC Cincinnati, and then you've got the LA teams. Literally every other team than those 5 teams, people say suck. And so scoring goals against them doesn't count. Okay. Well, Seattle didn't play Miami last year.
They would have scored 3.
The Columbus game got derailed by the Sean Sawatsky
still scored
incident,
3 goals.
But I mean, they won that game 4-0. That was not very ambitious of the Columbus Crew to get their goalkeeper a red card and not have a backup and then lose the game 4-0. Tell me where the ambition was in that.
Where's the ambition to win the league? I mean,
FC
fumbled.
Cincinnati, they didn't play last year, right?
Yeah.
So that's really one game that was like totally chalked that people would never give them credit for, and then 2 teams that they didn't play. The 2 good teams that people think the goals count in the Western Conference, literally the LA teams. If anyone scores against RSL, Houston, Minnesota, Colorado, Vancouver, Portland, go down the list, no one is going to say that those goals count, right? So it's literally you have to score against the 2 LA teams to to get away from this narrative that you ghost against good teams. Well, what happened in those games? They played the Galaxy in Leagues Cup and beat the shit out of them. I know people forget this, but like this idea that the LA Galaxy were like that far and away superior to Seattle on the field this last year is not true. Seattle beat the shit out of them in Leagues Cup, and then Galaxy beat them in the playoffs straight up. But that was a close, competitive, hard-fought game. Galaxy got pushed to their limit in that game, and Seattle, they could have won that game.
Ricky Puig scored with a torn or assisted with a torn ACL. What are you gonna do?
Yeah,
like what are you gonna do?
And then what happened when they played LAFC? Jordan Morris, did he ghost in that game? No. But I don't think so.
I think they're specific about Albert. Like here,
well, it's
Sam
something that gets
10,
said about Jordan.
10 goals, 7 PKs. Here's what I'll bring up to you. Would you ever say that about Raul Ruidiaz? Because if you want to say some shit about that, talk about a PK merchant, Raul Ruidiaz. There you go. Because they always compare. They're like, well, Raul scored just as many goals as Jordan. Guess what, buddy?
I also judge Rusnak's value much more on as a facilitator than as a goal scorer. I think he is a goal dangerous player, and that's like a nice added bonus. But I mean, like Nico didn't get on the score sheet all that much.
Nope.
Like he did, but not like all that much more than Albert did this year. I don't think
he had 16 assists and 10 goals. Man, I'm serious. Like, what do we want?
I mean, he's a PK merchant. But here, this is what I'm saying. Like this whole notion, Rusnak, Morris, or whoever, there is only 5 teams in the league that anyone would give credit for a Seattle player producing against. And then against a couple of those teams, they did produce, and the team did quite well. So I think what is happening is people are going through the match logs and going, oh, he scored against Salt Lake, Minnesota, and Houston. That doesn't count. Those teams suck. Well, those are the teams that they were playing. You only get so many games a year against these quote unquote ambitious teams. So I just wanted to bring that up because
cooking scorcher.
I mean, I'm kind of tired of hearing that. Like what teams count? What teams count then?
None.
What teams count?
Apparently, I say.
Yeah.
Here's my take on it. On the Albert Rusnak back as a DP to circle us back and tie this up into a beautiful little bow. No, I love a tangent. I was saying that he was never going to come back for anything less than a DP, and I was arguing like, who are you going to get to sign and integrate before going into Champions League? You're no one. So I just always expected he would be back as a DP. Not that it's like I'm not upset about it. I'm not upset about it at all. What I am upset about is it seems a little bit less good when it's like him and Jordan Morris together as the DPs, like I was saying before. But like at the end of the day, man, I'm sorry. Like you're not going to get anyone who's going to immediately integrate and be just as good and just as productive. If they can find someone longer term, they can hit it in the winter window. There's flexibility. There's flexibility. At the end of the day, man, like this was always going to happen.
How about some names? Brigade.
Yeah.
Anyone
Brigade
else?
Brigade,
anyone else in chat? Give me some like. I'm not even trying to.
Ricky Pooge.
I'm not even trying to troll. Like, who do you want Rusnák replaced with?
That's
like,
actually a good question. That's a good count. Bro played the reverse trap card right there.
Oh, okay. We got a
Danny Almo.
We got
Bro wants Danny Almo, free agent. Yeah, good luck. You think he's gonna sign with the Seattle Sounders?
this is the part of like the consideration that you have to think about is like, it doesn't really work like you. Oh, we want to upgrade our number 10 because our current one doesn't feel ambitious enough. Let's go over to the number 10 tree. And if you put money in that tree like a vending machine, then one's just on your roster and he's way better. Like
it's true.
The player has to want to come to Seattle. It has to line up timing wise. There's a lot like more that you have to that goes into it than just like finding a replacement. You gotta have a plan.
The only one I would say, Evander, banger, 100%. Sign him.
That is
sign him. I need it.
KDB realistic. Apparently he's going to San Diego.
I don't want his washed ass. I don't want him.
You wouldn't take KDB?
No, bro.
You take Griezmann, but not.
Yeah. Okay, listen. I'm an Atletico Madrid lover, and I love Antoine Griezmann. I've been a fan since I was a little child. People used to call me Mini Griezmann, so of course.
Barco. See,
fuck it.
Barco is an example of like why just dropping 15 mil does not like guarantee you anything, you know? Like
Claudinho wants to leave Zenit. They won't let you sign anyone from Russia because the oligarchs don't like that. Evander would never happen, but Manovic. I feel like it could happen though. Am I insane for that, Ari? Am I insane for that? I feel like it could happen.
Like they would trade him here, or like.
Well, he was a free agent, right? Is he still a free agent?
I thought he was under contract with them.
No, because I thought they were trying to re-sign him, and the talks have broken down.
That could be true.
Marco's a fraud.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
James Madison's value is only 77 million right now. Easy sign. Oh, he's not a free agent. He's under. I'm sorry, chat. I'm sorry. I'm not good.
Guys, if you want to guarantee your comment gets on the screen, you can always give a super chat. I forgot to make a goal.
Should we shill? No, I made a goal.
Oh, what's the goal?
Let me read it out for you. The new goal is Ari will sign as a designated player instead of Jordan Morris. So if we get 5 super chats, Ari will legally be bound.
You know that you want me
to be a designated player.
You want me as the designated player.
But it helps support the stream. It helps support what we do, and we can keep doing these little live streams instead of hanging out with our family, friends, girlfriends, all of that.
Almiron is a realistic option. I would be into that, but he's most prominently linked right now with Charlotte. So that my impression is like that's got the most smoke. Almiron, I mean, if you can get that done, that would be fire. But
where's the goal where Ari and Noah switch facial hair?
I physically can't.
You can't do it.
Do that? No, I really can't. It's a good question though.
We could try. If someone donated $100 right now, I'll shave it off.
All right. JP's coming back.
Oh yeah,
JP's coming back.
Yeah, that's I
re-signed
didn't
JP.
Want him to,
well, I mean, I don't know exactly what the number was, but I think
clearly he took
a cut. So in that case, I'm totally fine with it.
You were saying that.
In fact, it's the type of thing where you know it's definitely not like exciting at the time. I think most people expected Seattle to move off him, but it is the kind of thing where when you get into the season and injuries happen and squad rotation happens, I think they'll be glad that they did it ultimately, because you always think that you have your first choice roster at your disposal going into a season, and then you don't.
I just felt
have
like
that,
coming
so.
off the bench, he wasn't playing very well this season, especially after injury. But maybe give him an off season, time to heal up and kind of accept maybe a more different role and take a little bit of that
Yeah.
weight off himself, and maybe it's different. Also, he's a great leader.
As a depth piece and like a leadership guy for a low number, like I think it's fine. Feels like Ari's more of a TAM guy.
Yeah, he's more of a TAM
I'll
guy.
take that.
Max TAM.
All right.
You're Max TAM, Ari. You're what
Here's-
all of the agenda wants all the time. Max TAM.
Guys, real talk. Is this Jesus signing really going to help? Also, we should have moved on from JP Love to death, but Christ, he is old.
I mean,
I really think that the Ferreira signing is going to help. I've watched this guy. I've watched a lot more FC Dallas than I care to admit over the years. He was honestly the reason to watch that team for the last few years. And he's a very talented, very dynamic player, guys. You do not score 53 goals before the age of 24 in MLS without having some substance to your game. You got to be able to ball a little bit to produce like that. But also, more than just the stat sheet production, I think it's a good stylistic fit. I think people are questioning like where he fits, but I think so. This is we can actually. I meant to get into the like Campana comparisons and stuff, but I think it's a better tactical fit than a player of Campana's profile because of the versatility that he brings, and then also. I personally, you guys can tell me what you think of this. I like the idea of him and Jordan Morris playing off each other as like dual strikers. I think that could cook. But he also can play 10, and he can also play out wide. He can play a false 9. He can play a pure 9. He kind of can do whatever you ask him, and he did that to great effect in Dallas. Like I said, he was a very good, very productive player for them. Fun to watch, entertaining to watch. I think you guys are going to see like the way he combines with other players. Like he's pretty unselfish. He's a high IQ player. I think it's a substantively bolstering addition. I do. And I would have said that if you told me before the offseason, Seattle's going to make a deal for Jesus Ferreira, I would say, ooh, okay.
Yeah.
I fuck with that.
On God.
No cap.
No cap on God.
Jesus going to be so good versus Trinidad.
Well, but that's the thing that you guys aren't realizing is that like we're playing in Champions League, and so when you get the Pirate of the Caribbean, he's going to pillage. He's just
never
pillage.
Dallas never really made it to Champions League, so we don't know how
that's
he would
not
have
true.
Brigade will be keeping track.
Dallas, he played in Champions League, I'm pretty sure.
We will debate consensus after the season. I'm down, Reese. I'm down. We'll see what happens.
This Champions League thing because I'm almost positive.
Oh, here we got Caleb. Caleb, we'll put your comment on screen. I'm not going to ignore you. Let's make a huge waging bet on March 1st. If we beat RSL, I will publicly make a statement announcement begging for your apology. What if we lose? You have to admit that I am right on your show. Caleb, what take are we?
Caleb, you are such a drama queen.
What take though? I mean, you really think it's like that crazy out of the question that Seattle would beat RSL? Didn't they beat him this last year? Rusnák scored against them. I know it doesn't count because they're not like a good team. They were actually pretty good. That was a good team that he scored against. Dude, that was a nice free kick. Chew on that, Brigade.
Wait, but I'm confused at what this shit even means. I will publicly make a statement, an announcement begging for your apology.
I think he's saying. I think
this is a manifesto, bro. What's going on here?
He's saying away at RSL.
I see.
Away at RSL. I'm definitely not taking that bet. Like, it doesn't matter how good Seattle is as a team or their rosters. They never win there.
That's like,
ever.
that's like, yeah, that's yeah.
If RSL is here, that's fair. That's like a good game. But there, no.
But I will say I'm not taking the bet. But if Albert Rusnák scores against them, I need you to do 100 push-ups. And go
I feel like
touch
we haven't
grass.
run Rio Tinto or whatever their problematic name. Yeah, America First Fields.
It's America First Field.
Worst
All right.
stadium name in MLS by far. I knew you wouldn't take that bet. You are a scared little. I mean, we're as aware.
I'm not little. I am 6 feet tall.
We are
Okay.
as aware of Seattle's road history at RSL as anyone. Like, I don't know if you think you're like gonna pull one over, but like I said, the quality of the team in the roster is irrelevant.
I'll do 150.
Didn't RSL finish above us in the standings this past year? They did not. They finished. Oh yeah, they did. I was tripping.
Yeah,
I got them mixed up. Yeah, they finished in
They were 2
third. They were
points
the
ahead,
yeah.
right?
They were
2
the
or
3
3?
seed. They were the 3 seed. They averaged 1.74 points per game, and Albert Rusnák scored against them.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Get bent.
Just saying. All right. I mean, do we have any more like Seattle news or takes or anything?
Hold on, I starred some. I'm scrolling through.
Okay, I've got no one wants me as a designated player.
I want you as a designated player, Ari. Don't you worry.
Caleb, you're gonna get banned, my guy. Like,
Caleb's
this-
tweaking. Tweaking. Here we go. This
We're
one.
supposed to trust you.
What? Trust me?
You shouldn't.
Why would you trust me, bro? I'm
Yeah.
wearing a New England Revolution shirt. What do you mean?
Ariola wingback winger. I kind of like the idea of him as a wingback because I think he offers that like more attacking profile that we've talked about a lot. And he actually, I mean, more than anyone currently on the roster, I think there's a chance he could offer that. And Brando, I mean, I don't know if like it's not official yet, but it seemed like Nico was saying that was going to happen. So
I liked this one. Sounders Mount Rushmore, no goalkeepers. How many people are on Mount Rushmore?
4.
4?
Yeah.
I feel like they blew up a whole fucking mountain for 4 people.
Nico it has got to be on there.
Yep.
I think Ozzy's got to be on there. I think Fry's got to be on there.
No goalkeepers.
Oh, okay. No goalkeepers.
Read the rules. You're fired.
Sorry. Ozzy and Nico are non-negotiables for me. Albert Rusnák. Just kidding.
That's a good bit. That's
Just kidding. Someone says Schmetz has to be on there. I'm going to say no coaches too.
No coaches. Okay. Preki.
Chad Marshall is a good shout. That's a good shout. Dempsey. The thing is, like, the trophy haul with Dempsey as the star was actually not that hot. They won an Open Cup
and a Shield, right?
I go, okay, yeah, they won. That was the Open Cup Shield year. That's true. I probably undersold.
And he won he actually has a cup ring, even though he was injured.
He wasn't
16.
like playing that year,
but still, hey,
yeah, he's got one.
Okay, I got him to sign my 2016.
Freddie Montero. That's
nope. We will ban you if you start shilling crypto in here, Freddie.
C. Roldan have an argument. I think he does.
There we go.
He's got an argument. He was still on the roster, Jared, but that was the year he had the heart issue.
Are you ready for mine?
Yeah.
Ready for mine? All right.
Lay down your Rushmore.
We're gonna start off with the one that should be on everyone's, and that's Nico. I mean, they should literally have a statue of him outside the stadium right now. Number 2, a man who played probably 3 matches, but is one of my favorites because it's my Mount Rushmore. Andy Craven, banger. That's my number 2. Number 3,
good Mount Rushmore.
Number 3, I liked the Albert Rusnák pick just as a troll because he won. Guys, he won CCL. Can't really take that away from him. Kind of a banger. And let's go with my last one here.
Rusnák, Javier Arriaga, Lamar Nagel, Nelson Valdez.
There we go. Nelson Valdez. No, who should I pick? Oh, it's my last one here.
Yamar got a shout.
Oh, Yamar actually is a pretty good shout.
I mean, you would have
the
to.
Love he deserves.
I think you would have to give it to Marshall.
I'm going Yamar. I'm going
I
Yamar.
Still miss Chad Marshall. I loved
Dylan Remick.
I loved watching him play defense, man.
Obed Vargas. Build the statue.
That's a good. That was a good question.
Ozzy, Jordan.
Yeah, Dylan Remick for sure.
Dylan Remick is actually such a good show. Brad Evans because he's handsome. Yep.
Okay, so there's a couple different routes we could go.
Yeah.
Now.
We're gonna weave here.
There's there's transfer news that we could jump around the league a little bit because there's some good ones. We're gonna do that eventually. But I could also bust out the ambition rankings.
I think we should hit ambition rankings. We're peaking right now. This is good content.
Okay. All right.
Yo, you had a color coded.
Oh yeah, it's color coded.
Okay, hold on. I'm pulling this up.
Wait, I'm gonna share it with you. Hold on.
What's the guy's name on the anti-vaxxer podcast?
Rogan?
Yeah, who's the guy? He's like, pull that shit up, Jamie. Oh, Jamie. Pull that shit up, Jamie.
All right, I shared it with you.
I see it.
All right, so yeah, pull it up on the screen and then I'll explain. I'm looking forward to unveiling this bit. Like I said, I did this in response to the ambition discourse that's been going on.
Oh,
ambition has become a meaningless term that has no actual criteria. So I have created the Lobbing Scorchers all-time ambition ratings. Each team has been given a score out of 50. I'm going to explain to you guys how I came up with these. Okay, but
this is incredible.
You can see, just like off rip, I have the Galaxy. Okay, there's two separate ambition ratings.
Wait, is there a key? Do we get a key?
Yeah. I'm going to get to that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm putting the mic down.
Okay, so there's two separate ambitions that I've created a rating for because I think there's two different ways to think of it. There's all time, like your historic ambition, and then like where you stand right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So this first one is the Lobbing Scorchers all-time ambition rating. So this takes into account, this is a really sophisticated mathematical formula.
Yeah.
This takes into account your total body of work as a club. So
XATAR.
I think I actually I came up with these ratings by just plugging in the criteria that I came up with, and then that was just your score. It's not like I just like slapped it on there. So like the Galaxy came out as number 1, which I think makes sense because they have 6 MLS Cups. They won the last MLS Cup, and then when you're taking into account things like the signings they've made, like the triple Ps, total body of work, I think it makes sense that they are the front runner at 43 out of 50.
Wait, before we jump into this more, I think we got to hit because we're cutting this for YouTube. This is 100% a video. You got to hit us with a good YouTube intro for this. Wait, hold on. We got to do. You guys are a part of this now. Hold on. All right, we got to hit it with it. Just reintroduce it, and then we'll cut this into the video.
Okay. These are the Lobbing Scorchers ambition ratings.
Ari, what's an ambition rating?
Glad you asked, Noah. The ambition rating is something that I created using a very sophisticated mathematical formula that has given each team at the ambition table a score out of 50.
We're very much known for our statistical measurements here at Lobbing Scorchers.
It's a very scientific, mathematically proven formula. I have rated 7 different MLS clubs with scores out of 50 based on their all-time ambition ratings and their current ambition ratings. And I'm going to tell you exactly how I got those ratings.
Let's jump into it. Okay, now we're into it. That was a banger. Thank you,
banger
chat,
intro
for you didn't even say, no one even said hi YouTube.
Okay.
Like, come on, what are we doing?
And again, the reason I did this is because I've seen a ton of ambition takes flying around. People are saying that because Seattle traded for Jesus Ferreira, they're not ambitious. Rusnák as a DP, where's the ambition?
Nico, you're being called out right now.
But that doesn't it doesn't mean anything unless you have actual like criteria that you're basing it off of. You're just talking. So I took it upon myself to create these ratings. So 7 clubs at the ambition table. People were talking about like how Toronto should be on there and stuff. I might do these ratings for more teams, but these are just the ones that I came up with that I feel like people talk about as the ambitious clubs in MLS. And that doesn't necessarily mean the winningest. You'll notice that Atlanta United is on here. They have been considered an ambitious club because they spend a lot of money, and they definitely, like with Barco and Almiron and Joseph, especially when they first came in the league, they were ambitious. They trailblazed, like they belong on here, even though they've struggled the last couple of years. FC Cincinnati was like a borderline one, but I feel like in the last 2-3 years, they've like put themselves in this conversation. And part of the criteria that I used was like relevance in your market, fan support. FC Cincinnati has some of the best of that in the league. So if you have that part of the criteria, even if you're not necessarily the winningest club ever, like I think you still have a case for being ambitious. But anyway, so the all-time ambition ratings, I have Galaxy number 1. Seattle came in at number 2. Some people aren't going to like that. Seattle came in at number 2. Columbus tied, actually. Seattle and Columbus got the same score. Inter Miami, number 3. LAFC, Atlanta United, FC Cincinnati. But the criteria changed for the current ambition ratings, and the teams got different scores. So as you can see, Noah, scroll down. These are the current ambitions. This is where the teams came out, like where they stand in the league right now. And you'll notice Seattle's score was way lower, and I think like that actually is indicative of kind of how people feel about the team right now. But you know, I'm going to show you guys like how I scored this, and maybe we're like, what we're going to do is we're going to go through them and we're going to see if my criteria was good and if these ratings are accurate. Like I'm amenable to like any of these scores could be higher or lower. I honestly was kind of firing from the hip when I made these. So we're going to go through this and see what you guys think. All right. So I'm going to explain the criteria first. Okay. This is, I 5 things for the criteria for all time and for current. And then I gave each team a score out of 10 on these 5 things. So for all time, I was looking at in-market national relevance, attendance, stuff like that. Big signings. So either name value or pedigree. It's not like necessarily a signing that hit or was like the greatest signing, but like
splashing cash.
Splashing cash. Did you show ambition in your roster build, or do you traditionally show ambition in your roster build? International tournament performance.
Ruh-roh, Columbus Crew.
People don't take this into account at all when they're talking about ambition, but I think how you do in Champions League says a lot about your ambition. It says a lot. Like, do you go to that tournament and just totally like suck and crash out immediately, or do you at least, it's not like, you know, Seattle's only team to win it famously, but it's like, do you go and put on a good showing? So like LAFC actually I think scored like decently high on that because they didn't win Champions League that year, but I have to admit they did. That was a good run. Like they played well, they managed those games well. Even Columbus actually, like I gave them a like decent score because their Champions League run this last year, they played very well up until they got poisoned. So
yeah, they got poisoned.
Anyway, winning big games, like how do you perform when the lights are the brightest? And then what did it get you? Your overall trophy haul. So that's what I was looking at for all-time ambition ratings. Okay. And then for current, I was looking at in-market national relevance attendance again, which some teams like their all-time relevance is different than their current relevance. Seattle's score was different on those 2 things. Relevant for trophies, big game performance. A couple of these are like they carry over, but like these ones are different. Like best current roster, and then set up best for the future, making big news, signings that actually hit. So, and then I also have a trophy case tracker, color coded.
This is
what I did. I was pretty bored. I want to plug it into a spreadsheet eventually. But so, okay, let's look at the trophy case tracker. Go back up. So I added up all the trophies all these teams have ever won because I think that's one of the biggest indicators of ambition. And I included conference champions in this. So people might not agree with that, but I think any year where you win your conference, that's a year where you were in it. You were relevant, like, and you also do literally get a trophy for that. Like that is in their trophy case. So if you look at the trophy case tracker, the Galaxy have 23 all time if you include
not
their
the asterisk on CCC.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I actually threw them a bone by giving them that CCC from 2000. But like that, okay, I could probably take that asterisk away in the sense like that was what they were playing in. It's nowhere near as meaningful, but like yeah, I put that in their account. And then I thought it was interesting to look at even before I did the ratings. Like Seattle and Columbus actually all time have the same amount of trophies. Seattle and Columbus, I think, are very comparable clubs in terms of their like overall legacies and ambition and trophy haul, but Seattle's got CCC, Columbus doesn't. So we'll see how that affected the ratings. And then you got
They almost had Leagues
you
Cup.
got like the trophy case tracker is a little less relevant for like the newer clubs like LAFC. They already have 7. Like that's pretty
They're
damn good.
cooking.
Inter Miami, they only have 2. FC Cincinnati, they only have 1, but like they're both still relatively young clubs like Inter Miami. So.
You didn't count FC Cincinnati's USL trophies, Ari. So I think this is a little bit inaccurate.
MLS only trophies. Okay. So all right. So Noah, chat also give your takes on this if you want. I'm gonna explain like why I rated what I rated.
Okay. Wait, hold on. Let me make sure this looks good here. I'm trying my best. Chat, I'm like,
what is the time period for current? I've like the last like 1 to 2 years is kind of like the recent era is that's how I was thinking of it at least. Okay, so for the LA Galaxy in market national relevance, I gave them an 8. Because they I mean we were just down there.
Yeah,
they're killing it right now.
It hasn't always been like that.
It hasn't. Well, it wasn't like that the last few years, but they brought it back, and I think generally speaking, it's I'm thinking of it relative to other MLS clubs, but I think the Galaxy have been very relevant in that market. Their games are well attended. I knocked them down a little bit because I think LAFC took their shine for a little while and kind of encroach on their local relevance to an extent, but they're still like I was just down there for their last 2 playoff games, including the Cup, and it was lit. So I gave him a good score for that. Big signings, name value or pedigree, I gave him a 10. Like I don't think you could name a club that's had more of them, you know, and like
they were the OG.
So they get a good score there for the David Beckham thing. And then Landon Donovan, Robbie Keane, you could go down the list of all their great rosters they had during those years. And then now what they've done with the triple Ps and Jovic, like there's no club that has like done that better than them.
No.
International tournament performance, I gave them a 5 just to throw them a bone for their like Mickey Mouse CCC. But like that is the number one thing that they got knocked for on both of these. Winning big games, I gave them a 10. 6 MLS Cups out of 10 tries. That's 600 winning percentage in MLS Cup. You have to win.
Good.
You have to win a ton of playoff games to get there. And also it's not like they definitely don't have a rep as like choke artists or anything, but when you lead the trophy case by as much as they do, you've won a lot of big games.
Yeah.
And then I also gave them a 10 for trophy haul because
that's most cups.
Six
cups is crazy. They're gonna have to redesign the star
6 cups, and they also have won 4 shields. They've won Open Cup a couple times. So they've won
everything but the new tournament, right?
Leagues Cup.
Yeah, Leagues Cup. Everything but Leagues Cup.
Yeah. So and really,
give them a chance. They might.
So with that, I have given the LA Galaxy an MLS leading ambition rating of 43.0. I put decimals because in case we want to change it. But so do you see what I'm getting at here? Like, do those ratings seem like roughly accurate to you?
I think so.
Okay, so let's do Seattle now. This is how I got the 42 for Seattle, which is I have them. This score has them only 1 off the Galaxy in market national relevance attendance. So I gave them a 7. This might be controversial, but like this is all time. This is all time. So you have to give them credit for the early beginning and how electric that was for that whole era.
CCC final
just as much as you have to ding them down for where things stand now, which is, you know, they're still putting 30,000 people at the games, but I think there's a general, a lot of the consternation around the team is that this kind of local relevance has the shines like come off a little bit. It's not like as it doesn't hit like it quite used to. But I came up with 7 because I think you do have to give credit.
This is all time. This is all time.
This is all time. So I'm giving them credit for.
I mean, think about how many
beginning they have.
They had the record for a long time for attendance. Not only cumulative attendance, but also like biggest game ever played for a while. And I mean, that's like if you were at MLS Cup 2019, if you were at CCC, oh man, There is not a better atmosphere in the entire country. I mean, that was insane.
Yeah, and they had claim to that for a long time, so that's why I'm taking into an account there. Big signings. I mean, Clint Dempsey, Nico Ladero, Raul Ruidiaz, Freddie back
Albert
in the
Rusnák.
day, Albert Rusnák. But no, I mean, in all seriousness, like for all time, the track record is good.
Yeah.
Like Dempsey was considered a very like push the league forward type signing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ladero and Ruidiaz are two of the best DP signings, I think, in league history. Ladero certainly is arguably that signing hit arguably harder than like any DP
other than
of that era.
Of that era for
era,
sure, 100%.
You know? So anyway, I gave him. I know, like I said, these are the all-time ratings. I know people aren't going to agree right now, but all time, I think the track record is very good. International tournament performance. Until someone else wins CCC, Seattle gets a 10 year. Like they're the only team to win that.
Yeah.
So I know that doesn't necessarily take into account like all the years that they went and didn't perform well and didn't win, but they got it done, and they're the only team that has that trophy. And I think, like I said, I consider that such an important part of this quote unquote ambition that everyone is talking about.
And they almost
how
won,
well you do in that.
They almost won the first iteration of Leagues Cup.
Yeah, they went to the Leagues Cup final and performed well in that tournament.
And they've played in multiple Champions Leagues and been competitive.
Plus played in Club World Cup.
Played in Club World Cup. Yep.
What did it get you overall trophy haul? Seattle also gets a 10 in my opinion. CCC is what put that over the top. But I mean, if you look at the tracker, they have a shield. They have a couple MLS Cups. They have the 4 Open Cups. They won the West 4 times. And
trophies
CCC
per season
is the whole. Yeah. They have the holy grail that no one else has.
Yeah, not yet.
Like that is really what defines ambition to me.
And when they win the Club World Cup, that's going to be
it's going to be a 15 out of 10.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's how I came up with 42 out of 50 for Seattle's all-time ambition rating, which is pretty damn good. They were 1 point off the Galaxy as far as my scientific.
And that's all time.
That's all time. All time. They got a 34 on current. So
yeah.
So Columbus Crew in market national relevance attendance, I gave them a 9 because the stadium they built is one of the sickest stadiums in the league. It looks like they pack it with a great atmosphere every weekend. And crew fans, as much as we gave them a hard time this last year, and they are pretty annoying. They care about the team.
They did save their team.
They saved their team. They care about their team. A lot of them do know ball that I've talked to.
Unfortunately,
as annoying as they can be sometimes, and as much as they need to get a backup goalkeeper, it's a great market for the sport, and they're very well supported. And the only reason that I gave them a 9 is because they had to save their team at one point, which that's not great, but they did do it.
But it wasn't their fault.
Big signings, man.
Wait. Actually, I think we should knock down that just by 1 point, because they are going to play against Miami in a completely different metro city. And I think that's kind of embarrassing because they're going to play against Miami in Cleveland.
So you want Crew relevance at 8 and then Seattle.
No, I think they can stay.
They can stay.
I'm just being a little.
If anyone thinks that the ratings are bunk, like I said, I will change them. This is the first thing I came up with. Inter Miami. Oh wait, did we do all? We didn't do all.
We didn't do all of them. We're on big signings.
Big signings. I mean, Cucho and Diego Rossi are 2 of the best signings of the moment. They pulled a great one getting Nagby. Honestly, their roster building under Bezpachenko was
elite,
second to none. For the time that he
I think honestly, arguably a 10. Arguably a 10 on roster building.
And that would put them ahead of Seattle, but so this is all time. There was periods where their roster building was not as hot.
That's true. That's true. You're right. You're right. I'm going too recent here. 9 is still a great score.
Yeah, exactly. International tournament performance. I gave them credit here. They won Leagues Cup, and they also that Champions League run was very impressive.
It was a good run. They had a really hard path.
the thing that always stands out when I think back of Seattle's Champions League run is just how well they managed the games and just how up for the moment they were and the road results they were getting. Columbus had all that this year until the final. So I think they deserve a good score for that based on how they've performed in those tournaments the last couple years has put them in the conversation of the clubs that go to those tournaments and actually show out and perform. Recency bias, yes, but that like the recency, how you did recently plays into how you're perceived all time. So that is like it's everything. It's everything. Winning big games, I gave them an 8. You know, they've won 3 MLS Cups, been a good playoff team, won a lot of big games.
They've
in
only
Champions League.
Played in 2 MLS Cups though. I don't know how they got that second one.
Yeah,
not
that's
sure.
True. Yeah, I don't think a game happened that year.
Yeah, I think that was just a Don Garber
and then
gift.
Overall trophy haul, what did it get you? I gave them a 9 instead of a 10 because they don't have CCC.
Yeah,
that's it. Get CCC, you get a 10. Very simple. Inter Miami coming in next at 38.0.
I think you should add in the next iteration of this international relevance to that top line.
Yeah, that's so. Yeah, the criteria can change to all time and no DC United. I mean, is DC United considered like, I guess like way back in the day? I can add teams. Like this is just the initial teams that did just to test out my formula. But I can.
And Inter has been, or sorry, not Inter, but DC has been so terrible in the last like 10 years.
Yeah, like if you've been irrelevant for like the past decade, like I'm probably not going to think of you to put in like as the first group of teams. But I mean, it's like
we're also
those OG
like
clubs.
Yeah, we're young. You know, we're both 20, so it's like, you know,
I just graduated high school.
Yeah, we both just graduated from community college.
Inter Miami, I gave them an 8 for in-market national relevance attendance. I think they need a stadium that's not in Fort Lauderdale or whatever.
They are building.
And
finally.
Also, like as much as Messi and the Barca boys have increased their relevance, like
will it stay?
Well, will it stay? And also, I don't know. It's not like they like took over the city. Did they? I don't know.
I don't know, man. I see Messi jerseys. I see an Inter Miami jersey just about every time I go outside to like a place that's populated with children.
All right, I'll give them a 9.
I think, but I also do think that like when they first came out, which was 2 years ago.
True. That I think that's also what I was.
So
they were
the butt of every joke. No one came. Their stadium was empty. Everything was trash.
But what I would say is that like what they did with their roster is so like unprecedented and like above and beyond anything that we've kind of seen in terms of it. It's sort of like I don't even really think about their humble beginnings anymore.
Their illegal beginnings.
Yeah. I mean, big signings. You cannot give this team anything other than a 10.
Yeah,
they're the
bang.
best. They're the top club ever as far as that criteria.
Yeah, they literally signed the greatest striker of all time. You know who that is?
Leo Campana.
No, Robert Taylor. Oh. Come on. Oh,
he's a winger, not a.
Okay,
striker.
Well, he bangs in goals like a striker.
So. International tournament performance. I gave him a 6, man. I know they won Leagues Cup right after Messi got here, but the fact that they bombed out of Champions League the way that they did this last year was unexpected.
That was
and
pretty funny.
It was a letdown. I thought they were for sure making a run.
And Cup, man.
And like so winning big games, I gave him a 7.
Dude, they almost fumbled the Dallas on that Leagues Cup run though. Like, come on.
Yeah, but they didn't.
I know,
but I know. I mean, I don't know. I think the choke in Champions League and the choke in the playoffs. Honestly, man, I think they're a 6
to me.
They're a 6 for me here. They're a 6 for me here.
I'd go 5, but
especially when you take into account the expectations that they had, like going into those, like their actual performance when the lights were on is a 6.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot.
It's
off. Probably gonna get. They're probably gonna get a lot better, but for now, their results have been a 6.
Losing to Atlanta has to go down to 6. Yeah, exactly.
What did it get you? Man, this could be lower too, man. Their trophy haul for how good their team has been is not as
They were-
impressive as it should be, arguably.
I think that trophy haul should be a 0. They
They won the
Okay,
Shield
okay,
and
they can-
Leagues Cup.
they can have their Mickey Mouse shield. They can have whatever 3. That's what I would say. That's my take.
You would
I
give
would
their-
bomb them down, dude. Think about it. What did it get you? They spent how much money? They literally
it got them
90% of the Apple TV deal goes straight to Messi's pockets. You know what it's gotten them? A Mickey Mouse Leagues Cup and a shield that literally nobody cares about.
I don't know.
If you're
about-
ranking the
the
trophy,
shield and the points record.
if
That's
you're,
that's a good
the points
accomplishment.
record is not a trophy though.
Well, yes, that's true. That
And
is true.
the points record was hit because there's more teams and more games playing.
I think you're kind of convincing me. I think there's a good argument that this should be lower.
They're incredibly, for what they have, it is incredibly underwhelming.
They didn't get close to the cup. They didn't get close to Champions League.
Exactly.
With
It's
that
like,
team.
No, with Leo Messi, who they had to legitimately restructure the entire league's financial system to sign.
They get a 5. Okay, so I think that actually tamps them down to 36.
I'm sorry, Inter Miami.
So, okay, just to kind of take stock of that, it'd be like, Inter Miami, they signed Messi. How could they only get a 36 out of 50 in ambition? It's because they have not performed well in international tournaments. They bombed out of Champions League. That was really disappointing. They have not performed particularly well in big games. They lost to Atlanta United in the playoffs.
Brad Guzan owns them.
Brad Guzan now owns their club.
Yeah.
And their overall trophy haul, given their roster, is frankly disappointing,
Yeah,
given
it's
the
bad.
players they have. So this is sort of what I'm talking about when this is a relative game. People talk about Seattle being not ambitious, but relative to what? People would say they're way less ambitious than the team that signed Messi. But what did that team really get? They got a 5 on the trophy
They
haul.
got a 5.
You know? So that's why you actually have to think about like what you mean when you say ambition instead of firing at will. Okay. So LAFC is actually now ahead of Inter Miami in the all-time ratings. So I'm going to move them right here. Right here. All right, who's next?
LAFC.
We didn't do them? Oh yeah, we did Galaxy. Okay. LAFC. I gave them an 8 for in-market national relevance, same as the Galaxy. I feel like they sort of split the soccer relevance of that city right now.
Yeah.
So I think it makes sense for them to get the same score. Big signings, I gave them a 9. I mean, they've made a lot of big signings. I think Carlos Vela and Rossi come to
Vela,
mind.
man.
Yeah.
Danny Belonga.
And then so like this, you get a good score here. Like Giroud was a big signing, even if he didn't produce. Like you could argue that they were taking a big swing there. And
Yeah.
that's sort
But
of
it's name value.
maybe a better name for this criteria should be like big swings as opposed to like
Yeah.
big signings. But I gave them a 9 for that. I mean, I think their ambition as far as their roster builds go has been good and impressive. International tournament performance, I gave them a 7. I think they deserve credit for how they've played in Champions League overall. They've
Yeah.
never won it, but like it seems like every time they're in it, they're a serious team.
They compete.
there. They
but
compete.
They don't do
They
very
haven't
well.
won it. They lost the final, but like I think that
They're famous for losing finals.
they've played pretty well on the whole when they've gotten the chance in those tournaments.
But they don't have a trophy.
Do you think that should be lower?
I mean, I would think if you're getting because 70 is it's a passing grade.
Yeah, I
You
think that's
can't
fair.
pass without doing the assignment.
Yeah,
He hasn't done the assignment.
you can.
They turned in a blank piece of paper.
you
What do they
can-
got down
You can
there?
pass an assignment without getting in 100%.
Yeah, but is winning a trophy 100%?
I
Is that
think
what we're
you
doing?
get. I think you get 100 if you win it.
Then Columbus
and
Crew should
then
have 100% because they won a trophy.
6 to 8 is more like if you play well and and you compete with dignity, and I think they have done that. But I think there's a good argument that
pull up what we pull up the LAFC agenda.
what score should LAFC get out of 10 for their performance in international tournaments?
I think like a 5 or a 6. Like I don't I don't think
I'll
it
go
should
to
be
6
passing.
for now. I'll go to 6 for
I think
now.
the Union would disagree with Noah. Well, you know what? The Union are not even on this list.
They could be. That was one that I
4,
was torn on.
see?
Brando
4.
says 4. I'm gonna leave them at 6 for now, but I'm gonna keep tinkering with these. This is an ongoing project. Okay, so then now we've got Atlanta United, FC Cincinnati. Atlanta United in market national relevance attendance 10. They are still, even with how much they have struggled in the last couple years, like they pack 70 into that stadium on the regular. Their crowds are electric. That fan base is almost too into it for like how poorly they've been performing the last couple years. I really want to go to that stadium, but as far as their presence in the city of Atlanta, like they easily get
it's real, yeah.
And on that same token, they get a 10 for like the big signings and the swings that they've taken. Almiron and Joseph were phenomenal signings that I think really, like, you could argue that those pushed the league forward in a way. And then they've signed a lot for a lot of money that didn't work out, but they still took the swings. So like Barco, Almada, all those guys that they dropped those huge bags on, like that shows that they
do
are
the
willing.
business.
Yeah, they do the business.
They do the business
more than anyone. They will drop that money.
Yeah.
Arthur Blank.
And they are Sounders FC 2.0. They're Sounders with a rich. Have you ever thought that Atlanta is just the Sounders with a rich ass owner?
That's pretty much, yeah. That's kind of how they ran.
Like, I think there's a lot of Sounders fans who wish that they were just Atlanta United fans. Like, oh, go spend $1 billion on some random prospect from Argentina that may or may not hit. That's what they want. That's what all these people want. Like, go be an Atlanta United fan. That's you know what I'm saying?
International tournament performance 0. They haven't done jack in any of them to my memory.
No.
So they have not. Yeah, they get nothing for that. Winning big games, I gave them a 6. They won an MLS Cup, and they beat Messi. So there have been a couple instances where they've won some big games, but
they won cup.
Yeah, they won cup. So I think a 6 for me is about right for them, like all time. What did it get you? Overall trophy haul, I gave them a 7 because a cup that early in their existence.
Was that quickest cup? No, there was a.
And then they also, what else do they have? They have where is Atlanta's
did they have open
trophy
cup?
case?
They have open cup.
Oh,
too,
I don't think I did Atlanta United's trophy case.
Oh, but I think they have open cup.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, so like for how young a team they are, I think their haul is not bad.
And to completely burn through an entire roster and then rebuild like basically twice in 2 seasons, 3 seasons. I mean,
yeah. Okay. And FC Cincinnati, this is our last club for all-time ambition ratings.
There are no other clubs in MLS.
In market national this one is why I put them in here, because they have one of the best stadiums, one of the best crowds in the league. And they've also, since Pat Noonan and Chris Albright did their makeover, I think they showed I mean, this is kind of a different topic, but they showed they've showed a lot of ambition in terms of like building that stadium and how they pack it every week.
Yeah.
And they've got a crazy dedicated fan base.
Yep.
Big signings, I gave him a 7. Lucho Acosta was a great one. Brandon they could arguably, all-time rating takes into account their early days where they had one of the worst rosters I've ever seen.
It was pretty bad, but they did come straight. They just came straight from USL and just basically like popped in a bunch of the random people they had.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, what are you going to do?
International tournament.
That run that basically got them an MLS deal where they went all the way to US Open Cup final. That was kind of a banger.
International tournament 0. I don't remember them doing anything in Champions League or Leagues Cup really. I could be wrong, but don't remember. Winning big games 6. I mean, they won a Shield. They won a couple Hellas Reels. And really, you think that should be lower, even with their
What did Miami have?
They have Miami's big games was a 6. So
no, on their trophy winning.
Oh, they have 2. They have Leagues Cup and Shield.
Okay. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. 6 is fine, I think, actually.
6 is fine. What did it get you? Trophy haul. I gave him a 6.
That's what I think should be lower.
I think them winning a shield coming off the era that they were on is pretty impressive. Like that is a
Yeah,
that
but
was
it's not contextual. It's what did it get you, or is it contextual?
yeah. Like so their ambition.
Because
Like,
if it's contextual, Miami should have a fucking 0.
Their ambition got them a supporter shield, which early on in their MLS existence people would have been like, "There's no way this team is one of the worst of all time," and they
won Spoon 3 years in a row. Is
Anyway,
that going into the?
I'm just gonna
trophy
leave them
hole?
because they're in last place anyway, and I think it's representative of like kind of how I got to these scores. Like a club like FC Cincinnati, that's a young club that turned around a really bad start and got a shield. Like they're in the conversation, but they're not really up with these clubs like Columbus, Seattle, and the Galaxy. But okay, so those are my all-time ratings. Like I said, very scientific and mathematical formula. I'm not like they're obviously like not infallible, but I did think it was like the fact that I just plugged these in and whatever score I got is what you got. And Seattle did come in second. So I think.
Do we take this more meta now? Do we say wide ambition? Sounders. What does it mean? What does it mean to be a fan? What does it mean to be number 2? Should we be number 1?
But I think it came out in a way that makes sense because I think you have to have Galaxy number 1. I think Seattle's case for number 2 is very credible given their trophy case and the CCC victory. I think Seattle and Columbus are very comparable, so it makes sense for them to be tied. LAFC, scored very well on big signings, but they haven't won an international tournament. And frankly, 6 for winning big games for LAFC is a little generous. They have a reputation as choke
they
artists.
Should be like a 2.
Like they literally.
I think the only reason Sadfoot guys would agree with me.
The only reason is that they actually finally did win a cup. So
yeah, but they lost to the Sounders in the semis.
Yeah, no, like that. I think there is an argument that
they lost to the Sounders.
But so anyway, that's the all-time ratings. Let's do the current ratings. I'm going to go a little faster.
Okay,
I just wanted
running.
Yeah,
okay,
we'll speed run. Okay, so different criteria for who is currently the most ambitious club in MLS. LA Galaxy currently, they got a 45, 8 for relevance, 10 for in the mix for trophies, 8 for big game performance. Best current roster setup for the future, I gave them a 9.
Yeah,
I think they're chilling. I mean, they don't. It's their youth development maybe isn't as strong as some other clubs, but it doesn't really matter right now with their roster. And then big moves and signings that hit easily a 10 for 11. What their roster looks like right now. Columbus, I gave them a 10 for right now in market relevance and attendance with their new stadium. Relevant for trophies. There's a few teams where every time that there's a tournament or the playoffs, you're like, okay, these are the teams that are going to be in the mix. So Columbus, Galaxy, Inter Miami, LAFC, all those teams I think are just there in that snap conversation of there's a tournament, they're one of the front runners. Seattle is not in that category right now. I don't think when you go into Leagues Cup or the playoffs, pretty much no one is picking Seattle. So
that's not true.
Well, to do well before the season, people did, but if you look at who was getting picked in the playoffs this year, I mean,
yeah, sure. If they took later down the season, but I also think that there was a lot of people saying that Seattle had been really hot down the stretch and that they were someone who they were considering to be a finalist and that if they made the cup, they would win. I mean, there was a lot of people saying that.
That is true.
Actually, you're wrong.
But I still think that all the other teams are considered more in that class.
Yeah.
Just purely
East Coast bias from the pundits.
Yeah. Inter Miami, 8 for relevance attendance, 10 for relevant for trophies. They're always in the mix there. Big game performance, 6. It's a 6 for me. Best current roster setup, best for the future. That's one where it's a little interesting with this team because the Barca boys are old.
They are old.
But they have signed a lot of really good young prospects too. So, and then I just feel with what they have set up now, they're probably in a situation where they're a very desirable
They
destination.
built a good brand.
They've built a good brand. I think they're set up pretty well. But I did knock them down to an 8 instead of higher, just because I mean, a lot of their best players are up in their mid 30s.
True.
Big move signings, they obviously get a 10.
Messi, number 10. Messi.
LAFC comes in at a 40 in market relevance, attendance, 8 relevant for trophies,
Damn, the Sounders are
10.
low.
They're always in the mix. I had FC Cincinnati come out ahead of them. We can maybe adjust that if you guys think that's whack. It's just how the score.
Well, they
came out.
signed Rusnák as a DP. So.
Big game performance, 6. Current roster set up for the future, 8. Big move signings that actually hit, 8. They've signed a lot. They made a lot of really good signings that hit, but they've missed on a few, like J. Rue. Like they get docked for that.
Yeah.
40. FC Cincinnati. I had them coming in as currently more ambitious than the Sounders.
Damn.
So, in market relevance, attendance 10. Relevant for trophies 7. Big game performance is 5. Best current roster set up best for future 7. Making big move signings that actually hit 8. That came out to 37. All right, let's dive deep on Seattle though, because Seattle went from 42 on the all-time ratings, and then they got a 34 for the current ambition ratings. In market relevance attendance, I kept that as a 7. I mean, I think that's about right. Okay, here's my argument for why it's not lower. Yes, like the vibes aren't what they used to be, but I think most MLS clubs, if they were averaging 29, 30K per game and still had the atmosphere that Seattle does have, like it's good. It's good, like compared to that. It's just, it feels like it's not living up to what it once was. But what it is right now is still like, it's still a good scene for an MLS game. And the fan base is very like dedicated and supportive of the team. But like they got dinged a little bit for that.
I think that they aren't what they once were, which was a 10 or a 9, and I think that a 7 or a 6 is probably fair for now. You still have people coming out to midweek rainy games. You still have higher attendance than a lot of dedicated MLS stadiums. You still have, people who are going to show up whether or not Jordan Morris is playing or not. You know what I mean? Like you're not Messi dependent.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these clubs.
To me, like there's a lot of discussion and debate on, how to get this back to a 9 or a 10. I don't think the answer to that question is spending a lot of transfer money necessarily. I think the answer to that question is winning games. If they become like a consistently winning dominant team again, the vibes will return.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to take. The thing is, this year they started off very slow, pretty poorly, weren't scoring a lot of goals. The vibes deteriorated a little bit.
Yeah.
I think they brought it back pretty well down the stretch and into the playoffs. I think the LAFC head-to-heads where they were getting owned kind of clouded it, but they were playing at a 2+ point per game pace for a while, and they had a good playoff run that had a disappointing ending, but they got
if they got two. Final, they made the final. That stadium is full.
Absolutely.
69,000. 100%. Also, like I think what they could do is maybe not keep spamming the upcharge on season tickets and then taking away every concession stand in the stadium. That could be cool. But
big game performance, I gave a 7 because I feel like since they won CCC, like this used to be the best big game club in the league. Like every time the lights were the brightest, that's when they would play their best.
I feel like they're still there though. Like I know they're not like completely there. I think 7 is perfect, by the way.
Yeah.
I'll let you keep cooking on that, but I think like at that LAFC game,
they used to be an absolute 10 for this.
Easy.
And they still do the thing where like if there's no stakes on the game, they'll play down to the competition. But then when the chips are actually on the table, they're usually up for it. And like I think you saw that in the playoffs this year. They went into that LAFC game. No one thought that they had a chance in hell of winning that game. They were up for it, and they scored an awesome goal, and they got a playoff dub in the stadium of their one of their biggest rivals right now. That was an excellent big game performance in terms of game management, coming through in the moment. Like, so, I mean, I still give them credit for that. This is where they got dinged more, though. Best current roster set up best for the future. I said 6 just because I think that's up in the air right now. Like, until we kind of see what Craig Wibbs does the rest of this offseason and in the next window, I kind of don't. That 6 is a reflection of uncertainty, you know?
Yeah.
I just don't know. It's not to say that they're for sure set up poorly. It's just that I don't know if I can confidently say this team is set up like super well, you know? So I gave him a 6 there. I don't know. Do you disagree with that? Best current roster, set up best for the future.
I mean, I think Anthony here makes a good point. You got to give our academy system good credit. I mean, they are obviously producing some incredible talent. And I think the pathway for a player to become an integrated starter with this team, from youth development to finding, scouting, and implementing players like Georgie into the Defiance, I think it's better than most teams in the league. So, I mean, I could even see it being higher, honestly.
I think I'm going to bump them up for that because I think Anthony is right. Like, they have one of the best youth development setups in the league. And we are finally kind of seeing the fruits of that in the last couple years, but especially this year. I think you got to give him credit for how much of an impact player Obed has become. And then even a guy like Josh Atencio is not as good as Obed, but like he plays good MLS minutes for them. Paul Rothrock. I'm going to move this up. I mean, do you think 7 or 8?
I think 7.
7's about.
I think you have to really take into consideration that, like, the main team in itself is at an aging point, has been at an aging point, and they just keep bringing those pieces back. I think, like, shedding Raul and then re-signing another DP that's, you know, like, I just, there's the future forward thing. I don't see it.
Okay. So like
we debated.
We have, I have Seattle rated as a 35 out of 50 on the official current ambition rating, which, is so, like, if you're on this list at all, it's because I consider you have a seat at the ambition table. So there is there's built-in, I think, credit that you get.
You're top
for
5%.
You're in the upper echelon. However, I think the question is, so, like, my takeaway from kind of putting an actual number on this is where Seattle sits right now is not as bad as people are saying. On the timeline and on the internet circles, when you see people saying this club used to be ambitious and now they have no ambition,
call them out. Say who it is.
I don't know about that. They got a 35 out of 50 on our scale, which is,
and we are unbiased.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not where it used to be, and I think the question is, how do you get it back to where it used to be and have their ambition rating be up where the Galaxy's 45 is and not at 35. And I think there's two things. I think, you know, we've talked a lot about how you want to be tactical and thoughtful about your roster, not just spend money for like no reason, like a lot of people seem to want. But I think a signing needs to be made, ideally in this next window, but like just in general, just soon, that is of like the triple P's ilk.
Yep.
Like, you need to bring a player like that, like someone like a
sign one.
It can't be a young DP profile like De La Vega. It has to be more the Nico or Raul profile. So to get your score back up, you have to do that. And then you gotta start racking trophies again. If you do that and you add more to what is
year.
What did they rack?
Western Conference. Oh wait, no, they didn't even.
They didn't rack.
Never mind.
They didn't rack any.
Never mind.
That was what Schmitz was saying when they asked him if the season was a success. He said, honestly, no, because we didn't rack a trophy, and that's what this club expects. I think if you hit on a triple P type signing and start racking trophies again, you're gonna see the score go up. So I guess that's sort of my overall point, is like, they're not where we want them to be based on the past, but like, they're not in that bad a spot. And I think they're set up theoretically decently well to make a run at like recapturing this stuff that we're talking about. But
a slight dip for a potential resurgence.
Yeah, exactly. And then we can go through Atlanta real quick.
Okay. Well, do we have to?
They're in they got a 21.0. I still gave them a 10 for relevance. They have not been relevant for trophies the last couple years. Big game performance. I gave them a 4 for the Messi win, but that's about it. Set up best for the future. I mean, they
used to be good in big games. They used to be really good.
But
they
this is current. This is current ratings.
Yeah, but they won. Didn't they win Shield and Cup?
Yeah,
same year.
But I'm that I give them credit for that in the all-time formula. Not
That's
the,
right.
Not the
recent.
current formula. This is like the last couple years. Best current roster set up best for the future. I think that's totally up in the air for them right now. They fired their coach. Yep. They brought in a new coach who I think was a good hire. But Bocanegra is out. Like they have a lot of work to do, and their future is very iffy right now. Making big move signings that actually hit. I mean, some of Boca's roster work was some of the worst.
It was so bad.
Some of the worst in the league.
He needed to be.
So anyway, they get a 21.
Yep.
All right. Those are the Lobbing Scorchers ambition ratings. Like I said, super.
If you disagree, drop a comment below, but you're wrong.
Yeah. But on it, so like, it's a little facetious with him, but it was an interesting exercise to go through and kind of like rate where I think all these teams stand at the moment. And I was kind of interested in what I found, which is that Seattle ranks very high in the all-time ratings, but they got work to there is work to do. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, they've got to start racking trophies again. And the roster needs, I think it needs a shot in the arm beyond just Jesus Ferreira. I think that's an awesome trade. I'm really excited to watch him play. I think he's going to fit in well on the team, and I think he's going to meaningfully bolster the production of the attack and the aesthetic of the attack. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things that I've been telling people about this guy is I really enjoy watching him play. However, I think everyone's going into this season assuming that De La Vega is going to be a 0, which may or may not be true. But with the attack as it stands right now and how we rate all these players, like I think adding more juice to the roster is it's a key part optically, but also in really making sure that you stay on the same level as these teams. I do want to say though, like how they get compared sometimes, like I don't really understand. I saw a take from a national pundit a couple days ago. I'm not going to name him.
Name him.
Joe Lowry.
Jolo,
I love you. He's coming on the show, actually. He said he would.
There we go.
Jolo said...
We should confront him on the show.
Jolo said that the Sounders have work to do to be considered as ambitious as the two LA teams. They beat LAFC in the playoffs. So like, what is the ambition gap really if they lost at home to the unambitious team?
I think it's less about who is more ambitious, because I think it's undeniable that both of those clubs are currently a little bit more ambitious in their roster build. I think it's, what does ambition get you? What does ambition matter?
And that's what no one asks.
Yeah, it's and I think you've been talking about this a lot, is like, ambition is awesome until the point where you can't make that ambition turn into anything.
It doesn't guarantee you trophies. If it did, Inter Miami wouldn't have gotten a 6 on the big game performance rating. Okay,
there you go.
So it's to me, it's like about the substance of it more than like how much money you spend or what your roster looks like on paper. That like doesn't really win you anything.
That's some literal like Manchester United shit, where you're like, I care about how many transfers in and out that we have, and we will never win a trophy, and we will never be competitive in the modern era. But that's all that matters.
I think PDLV bounces back, and I rate Jesus highly.
We should move into our next section, which is just closing her down and answering the rest of your questions with a little lo-fi.
I will say really quick though, like the De La Vega bounce back is not going to be talked about as even a possibility. But like if he even performs 20% better than what he did or produces 20% more, like it would at least be something.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, we are past 2 hours.
We'll hit a few last questions.
Yeah,
maybe,
go ahead.
and
If
we
you got any last takes or questions, go ahead and churn them out. Looks like we got 0 super chats, which is sick.
Yeah, we're okay. Wait, here's a full shill moment. Ari, stand up. Ari, get out of the chair. Ari, get out of the chair. Look, we're gonna make the camera. Hold on. Should we just let's just get really close here. Get really close. Please. We're 2 hungry boys. One super chat, 1 sub is all we need to feed our families. Okay? I work all day long and hard for your super chats. Okay? This is what I am. I'm on my knees. But other than that, you can also go to sounderheart.com/ls, subscribe, and support us.
Honestly, that would help us more than the super chat.
And yeah, I don't know. That's where we're at. Oh no, Ari made a microphone error. He's trapped. I wish you guys could see this.
We're good. Jared says, I'd like to separate the current roster.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
I messed you
like
up.
to
Look, our
Yay!
internet begging worked. Look at this.
Anthony, appreciate
Wow.
you, man.
Thanks for the super chat.
I honestly
Wow.
I just didn't want a goose egg on super chats. That would be embarrassing.
Yeah, we're not.
Okay, Jared, I'm going back to your take. I'd like to separate the current roster versus roster set for the future metric. Can you explain what you mean by that more?
Yeah, we got more super chats, Ari.
Yeah,
we got more super chats.
Yeah,
we got more super chats.
Jordan, thank you so much. Appreciate you. And disc golfer, we love you. Pains me, but shilling works. It does.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Honestly,
You just fed our families.
You fed
They're
our
fed,
families.
Okay, they're full. Their tummies are full.
We really appreciate all the support, and even if you didn't super chat, everyone who tuned in,
We love you.
We've been having a lot of fun with these live shows. I like getting.
They're very different from a podcast.
They're very different, but it's cool getting to like actually interact in real time. I think Miami's current roster is a 10, but set for the future a lot lower. Yeah, I mean, I think I had that in the ratings. What did I have them at for set up for the future?
They were at a.
Oh, yeah, it's true. I gave them an 8 for that.
Brutal.
I gave them an 8. Yeah, I still gave it pretty high because, like, the thing is, it's not just the Barca boys, man. They signed Gomez and sold him for a bag, and then basically every top 5 rated prospect out of Argentina is on their team now.
Yeah.
So, like, their roster would be set up good for the future if the Barca boys weren't even like a part of it, you know?
I'm doing the battery switch before it dies.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Battery switch. Can they still hear me? We're coming back.
Oh God! Wait, Ari, sing to him. Sing to the chat.
I'm not singing.
Ari won't sing.
No one wants to hear that.
There we go.
All right, we're back. We're back in action. We are going to hang around for a few more minutes. Get your takes in. I'm like a newspaper salesman. Get your takes here. Get your takes.
Wait, should we do some stand up, Ari?
I dabble. I don't.
You've doubt. Okay, wait.
Dabble.
Do you think you could do a tight 3 minutes?
I'm a tight 3 minutes of stand up.
A tight 1 minute of stand up.
When we do this the drunk stream, I'll do stand up.
Oh boy. We should have done a New Year's stream and just started.
This is
this is a New Year. Oh yeah.
Happy New Year, by the way. I meant to say that.
What are your here's a good bit. I just came up with this one off the top of the dome because I'm a content king like that. What are your Seattle Sounders New Year's resolutions?
Seattle Sounders New Year's resolutions. I think we almost kind of talked about that right now. It's sign Joseph Paintsill.
Yep.
And win some trophies.
There you go. Champagne popping. My Sounders New Year's resolutions are Nuhu DP and beat
score more goals.
Score more goals. Yeah, I don't know. Score more goals is good.
Noah, we actually have to hang out for a little bit longer because Austin getting Ilya Sanchez and Vasquez. Can we join the ambitious club?
Whoa!
I forgot to go over the transfers from around the league because we got so into the ambition ratings.
Wait, this one's a good. Before we hit that, let's hit some more of these questions. And we'll jump it. Will Jackson Reagan make the U.S. men's national team roster? I think so. I think he'll make Jan Camp.
He
What
better.
do you think?
He better. Like he should get a look. He should get an actual look. Like I think he could. I mean, I'm Canadian now, so I don't care.
Yeah, you're Canadian. It doesn't matter. Did you see Jonathan David might go to Saudi Arabia for like 10 mil? That's it. I mean, they'll probably pay him a lot, but
10 for Jonathan David.
yeah, they were because he's gonna be a free agent next year, and so they were considering the transfer. I'm like, bro,
I feel like that's
Seattle
that's
Sounders.
a good deal for him.
Seattle Sounders drop, yeah, on the Star one said drop literally 20 mil on him.
20 mil on John David.
20 mil on John David.
I would. Oh my god, if they got John David, whew,
Oh my god, it'd be over.
that's
dude.
like our dream.
That's both of our dreams.
Yeah.
That's as two Canadians by birth.
I would take Kyle Laren for Tam as well.
Yeah, Kyle Laren's
Bring
a
him
TAM
back.
player.
Bring him back.
Yeah.
All right, should we do these?
Yeah,
these new signings.
yeah.
All right,
we
this
can
is
do
actually
that.
there's actually interesting roster movement around the league.
Okay, hold on. Let me pause this audio here. Sorry.
Oh,
No more lo-fi.
We'll do lo-fi after we go over these.
Yeah, because what if we want to clip it?
Do you want to
know?
pull up the transfer tracker, or should I just?
Yeah,
do
we can do that here, but let me find this. God damn it. MLSsoccer.com. Could you guys not have made a better domain name? Couldn't get MLS.com.
Major
already?
League Soccer, MLS.com. Shout out real estate.
Thank you. Multiple listing service, if you didn't know.
Um,
Where is this thing on here,
it's-
Ari?
you click on news.
Dude, I just see a bunch of messy content.
There you go.
Is this it?
Yeah.
Did I
so,
do
like
it right?
see where it says Ilya, Dodson.
Oh yeah, I
Pico.
just see a whole section on Messi. Am I in the wrong area? I'm trolling you
Okay,
right now.
okay.
I'm totally messing with you. I'm just trying to pull it up.
All right. The first one I have written down. So Austin FC has signed Ilya Sanchez. So that's not like all that big of a deal in itself.
He's the
But
smart choice.
He's there is now a tire salesman on Austin FC, but he's not on LAFC anymore, which I think is the most newsworthy part of that, because he's low key a very important player for them. And he's kind of the classic kind of MLS lifer that if Seattle signed him, everyone would say they're not ambitious, but he's like a glue guy that's been very important for their team. So that's not an insignificant loss for them, even though he's old. And he sells tires.
He does sell tires.
He sells
famously.
tires, Continental tires. So
They're the smart choice.
the smart choice. And then as far as Vasquez going there, I saw those links, but Matt, is that reported, or is that you
That was vibes based.
was that vibes based? Inter Miami made a move. So okay, again, so they signed Fafa Pico, who is a pretty good MLS player.
He's very bald.
Not very ambitious signing. I'll just say it.
Really?
Fafa, not that
He
ambitious.
cooked. He cooked
MLS
this year.
MLS journeyman, like he's been a decently productive player, but I mean,
He almost did good one time.
no, but I mean that's so. This is sort of what I was saying on the, not to belabor the ambition discussion, but this is what I was saying on the last.
Oh shit!
show.
I closed it, Ari.
It's
okay.
I thought you meant you closed the stream.
No, dude. I got to
Um,
go to MLSsoccer.com again and find this thing.
Um,
My God, how many messy articles do you write?
are you still on the Messi page?
We're back.
Now I don't
We're
even
back.
remember what I was saying.
James Sands. Cook on James Sands. You got James Sands news?
Apparently New York City loaned him out. Don't really care about that.
Okay. Yeah.
I was talking about Fafa, right?
Yeah. Unambitious.
Unambitious signing by Inter Miami. I think that was the bit. That was it. But then this was the big one. So, and then we're gonna segue into a little discussion, and then we'll wrap up. Okay.
Okay.
So LAFC signed Jeremy Abobasi, which is essentially a Kai Kamara replacement, and
Is this the page?
unfortunately, I'm sad to report that I like that signing for them. Abobasi is a good MLS player. I would have liked Seattle, honestly.
A lot of people thought that he was in the pipeline.
But again, this is what I'm saying, man. Like, That is not like a flashy or sexy big money signing. That is a good signing. And no one is talking about LAFC moneyballing with that. No one's talking
They're
about
allowed to moneyball, Ari,
Inter
because they'll
Miami.
make a signing.
No
that's
one's
like
talking about
crazy.
Inter Miami moneyballing with Fafa, but that's exactly what they're doing. And the best teams in the league do that.
I disagree.
Just so everyone understands.
I mean, I agree with your take because I think every good team does it.
Vasquez Austin is vibe based.
But
it could happen though.
But like they get to Moneyball because they also make the big signings and they splash out. You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
Like, no one's going to complain when you've got two cooking ass DPs that you sign Fafa Pico. He's just a good depth piece.
When you have Messi on.
When you have Messi, you can sign.
I was joking about the
bald
Fafa
king.
thing.
I'm just saying in general, I don't like the narrative that people are like, oh, well, why does LAFC get to sign these TAM players that are average and no one gets on them? It's because they have Denny Bawanga. It's because they have J-Roo. You know what I'm saying? It's like they can do that, and it's like, I don't know. Yeah.
But like
go to the one down.
Seattle should bring in Kai Kamara.
I asked him at the Open Cup like 5 times when I was walking. I said, Kai, please come to Seattle. We need a 9. And he just looked at me, shook his head and laughed and walked off. So I don't think that's going to happen.
That I've actually been saying that we were saying that earlier this season.
Yeah.
Well, because it's just an example of like one of those high percentage interleague moves where like Kai Kamara, you could sign him at any age and he will get you like 4 to 9 MLS goals, you know? So like that would have been a better signing than Moose, you know?
Yeah. Danny Musovski, baby.
RSL decided to be ambitious last year. Can we give that club some shine? I mean, yeah, they brought in Chicho Arango. That was pretty ambitious, I guess.
Yeah.
That would, yeah.
Him and then what's his name popped off too? The American National. What's his name?
For who?
For RSL?
Diego Luna.
Yeah, Diego Luna.
Yeah.
He popped a little bit.
Yeah, Diego Luna. Diego Luna that was a good signing. No, RSL's done some good stuff. Pablo's a good coach. Okay, but so here, this is what I want. This X-Dog. This is what I wanted to ask you, Noah, and then we'll get out of here.
Okay.
We're at 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
If you could pick between Jeremy Ebobisse, Leo Campana, and Jesus Ferreira, which one would you most want on the Seattle Sounders?
Here's
chat way in too.
Here's my thought breakdown on this. Okay, I'm gonna break them down all 3 on what I like, and then give you an actual determiner here. I think where you're looking for depth the most is the attack, right? I mean, I think we could agree with that. So you've got Jeremy Ebobisse, who just, I mean, that dude, you could put him anywhere. He's just gonna bang. He's great. You've got one of the best young players in the league who's often on a down season looking to turn up and go somewhere else. He has a really big incentive to play his ass off. And then you have Leo Campana, who people say he's not a proven goal scorer, that, blah, blah, blah. Dude sat behind Messi, is ready to play, likes the league, clearly wants to stay here, and is one of my favorite strikers. And that's kind of fills the gap there. But the question is, where and how do you sign these people? Because Campana's going to be a DP. There's no way he's not a DP. So if it's me, I don't want him as a DP. I don't. I really like him, but I don't. I argued that he should be last time, but I'm gonna push that take aside for this specific section. Ferreira on TAM. Whew. Sounds like a banger deal to me. And then if Ebobisse, if he's on TAM too, that sounds like a banger deal. But I have to go with Ferreira. So
I think the thing to think about with it is like, tactical fit and versatility. Ebobisse and Campana are more pure number 9s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ferreira, I like the fact that you can there's flexibility as far as where you plug them in, and you can sort of drill that on the training ground, see what the best fit is, and then take it from there. But then if you need him in another place, like maybe you need to fill in on the wing for a game or something, he can do that in a pinch and perform at a high level. Whereas a more traditional number 9, you don't have that same flexibility. So I think they're all pretty similar like players in terms of how I would rate them. I don't know. Who do you rate between Campana and Ferreira, like, as the better player?
You know, I saw a lot of like chat about this, and I think that it's hard because they're not really comparable players to me. Like,
but is Campana a better number 9 than Ferreira is, whatever his position is? If that makes sense.
I think they're very close.
They're close.
I think that, like I was saying, what gets it across the line for me is what the number is. Like, if Campana comes here and he's not on a crazy deal, sure, whatever. Even if he was a DP, I think like that wouldn't be insane. Like, that's still a 9 who's talented, is multiple goal seasons, multiple 10-goal seasons, played extremely well when he was not even the starter. Like, I don't know. That's my take on that. But I think for the Sounders specifically, I think Ferreira, I would rate him higher.
I think
because you need that versatility on this roster.
He's a better fit. Reese, Leo Campana, 2022, 11 goals, 2 assists. 2023, 9 goals, 3 assists. Last year, 8 goals, 3 assists. So, and these are all
playing behind Messi.
These are all under
and
2K minutes. So if you actually gave him a full workload,
he didn't even hit 1,500 minutes this season.
He appears to be like a pretty like written in pen double-digit goal scorer.
Like 8 goals, 3 assists in 1,200 minutes.
I certainly rate him quite a bit higher than Abobasi. And I rate Abobasi. I think he's been one of the most underrated forwards in the league for the last few years.
Here's what I want: Leo Campana and Ferreira together. You make Leo Campana a DP, Jordan Morris isn't a DP, and then boom, we've got a club.
Ferreira does help with playmaking. He has played like a 10 role for FC Dallas. His assist numbers are good, and if you just watch him play by the eye test, he's very unselfish. He's very creative. He's a good and willing passer. That is one of the upshots of this, more than the goals he's going to score.
Yeah.
Or that, like, he's a team player.
Yeah.
He's a team player, and like he's got a high soccer IQ. So he had to kind of adapt and integrate into all sort of different iterations of FC Dallas with not a very good supporting cast, and he remained productive. And he got number 1 on 22 under 22, whatever that's worth.
I like this. This is a good question here. Replace Morris with Campana, straight up swap. What do you think about that? Would you do that?
Well, okay, I'm going to put aside that you can't now because the Revs just man.
Let's say the Revs are here, right? Hi, Ari. Do you see this?
Yeah.
Do you see who I am? I'm the New England Revolution. Shake my hand. There we go. I would like to offer you this trade right now. We really like Jordan Morris because he's got a really nice ass.
Would you just trade him straight up?
And so we're gonna give you Leo Campana, and we want Jordan Morris. Accept or deny. You've got 1 week.
I think you have to do that because Campana is 24 and Jordan is 30.
Exactly. So I'm saying in a hypothetical situation,
as far as what they would actually produce this coming year in terms of goal total, I don't think it's going to be that different. I think they're going to score probably a similar amount of goals.
But Campana's on a bunk team.
Well, sometimes
if you swapped those two, Jordan Morris barely scores.
I mean,
if you swap, I'm telling you, if you swap,
sometimes being on a bunk team means you're the only guy and you get the entire workload, and you kind of get your numbers by a function of that. Exactly. That's like a good example.
Yeah.
So I would do the trade, the theoretical trade, because of the age difference. But again, like, I think when we look down at the stat sheet at the end of the year, I think Leo Campana is going to be in the 15 to 20 range. I think Jordan Morris is going to be in the 15 to 20 range, all comps. Like,
Yeah.
I really.
But who do you think's more dangerous on this roster?
Ooh. Probably Campana, man. Probably
Yeah,
Campana.
that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
No hate to Jordan. I think Jordan's talented. I just think if you swap the players, I think Campana produces
Put on
more.
the lo-fi while we wrap this up.
Oh,
here.
yeah. This is
over
good.
under 15 goal plus assists for Ferreira in 2025. I think it's very possible, if not likely, that he could hit the over there. I do. Like, I could be being overly optimistic.
Under.
But he's definitely capable of it. And
is this all comps?
let's say league play.
Under.
Under for league play.
Under.
I think he's going to be about around there.
I think he'll be around 10 in league play if we're lucky. If he's healthy.
Goal dangerous anywhere near the 18. Good on the dribble. Super fast. I'm stoked. Played with two of our best players. Big thanks for Jesus. I don't think it's even a question. Yeah, goal dangerous anywhere near the 18, and he also he can range out like really well. Like a lot of his goals for FC Dallas have come like either like near the top of the 18 or from outside the box. And you know what else he can do is he's really good at finishing counterattacks, like in transition, but like he can be running full speed on the counter, and
he has that skill set that Jordan does not,
and like he converts those. Like,
I think, dude,
and when he has high percentage looks, which he's pretty good at getting into those spots, he converts.
He fits so well on the game plan of this roster. Like, they'll tweak it, obviously. They'll tweak the formation. That over-the-top ball to Jordan Morris when you also have Ferreira next to him, like if you play dual nines, what do you think about that?
That's what I was saying earlier.
Like, that's banger.
Yeah, I think that's how they might end up doing it.
Yeah.
More goals this season, Morris or Ferreira?
I think Morris, because I think they'll switch around positions based on personnel and teams, and I just think that Morris will probably stay at the 9 more consistently.
I think that sounds about right. Daniel, what would Pedro need for you guys to consider him having a successful season next season? Whether
play
we like
a full
it or
amount of minutes.
Next season is make or break for Pedro. Play a full complement of minutes, and I'm gonna throw like actually move the needle and make this attack better.
Yeah.
If he doesn't have crazy numbers, but the attack is producing more, like with him as a contributor,
he has to look good.
That's a success. And like, yeah, he's got to.
He's
got to look like the guy they thought they were signing.
I'm in agreement with you. Like, I don't think it necessarily comes down to all stats. If his stat sheet production is middling, whatever, he's got to look good. He did not look good. He
needs to move the needle.
He needs eye test.
I thought the eye test was actually good at times with him, but very inconsistent.
I just didn't see it, but I don't know ball as well.
He's got to, Daniel. I think that's the most important thing. Is he's got to play.
He has to play. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you got to play. You got to play the minutes.
Still a false 9. He can play there. He can. I think FC Dallas played him there quite a bit, but they also last year they had just signed Pitar Musa.
He's nasty.
He's actually who's like a good number 9.
Yeah.
So he was not in their first choice 11. He was playing either underneath Musa or more as like a second striker.
I'm interested to see if Ferreira gets frustrated playing under Schmetzer.
Expand.
Because I think that like the underpinning of this whole deal is that he wants to kind of revitalize his career and potentially move on, and that's just not something that Schmetzer is a how do I say it? That he's very like gives a shit about, like Leo Chu or that kind of thing.
He's not the GM.
He's not the GM, and it's very clear he doesn't give a single fuck what the GM has to say, from internal and external things. Like I'm interested to see how he fits in that whole scheme. You know what I'm saying?
I think the question of his buy-in is an interesting one, because I think you're right. Like, a big part of this is him trying to rehabilitate his value And if he's successful in that, like he's gonna want to move.
Yeah, but it's like he's gonna want to play the minutes in the position that he wants to play, or that he
To be
thinks he's
able
going
to
to perform
showcase
well. And it's like that's just not the type of player
They got to make
that's
sure
successful here.
They got to make sure he's bought in on it being about the team and not about him platforming the advancement of his career. Like,
which, like, that's hard when that was kind of your whole sell to the guy, allegedly.
Yeah. But I mean, I would imagine that they had extensive discussions about exactly that.
Yeah.
But it's always different. Like you can have discussions about it, and then once you actually like start training and you out in the game start, things can change.
Yeah.
Do you think we could deploy wingbacks next season if we sign Areola? That's like what I'm hoping he can bring to the table, is like an attack-minded fullback. If he can do that and be effective at it, then that would be a good pickup. I mean, if he's just a depth guy, like depth midfielder or whatever, or they have him playing as a backup winger, that's fine, but I'm most interested in him as a wingback.
Yeah. To what Anthony is saying down there, Brian will bring out his best. It's probably Brian's best trade. I agree. Like I don't think that Brian Schmetzer is a bad coach. I think that his coaching style and for like the things that he does that make him successful are not the type of things that make a player who's making a pit stop and trying to be kind of platformed it just doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way because look at the people who have tried to do that throughout their career under Brian Schmetzer. It doesn't happen. And
I do think he's coming to an environment where he theoretically like should get a mental health boost from joining this team after how it ended at FC Dallas. As people mentioned, he has history playing on the national team with Jordan and Christian. They all like each other. He's buddies with them. So I don't think he would come to a team with a couple of his friends and then be a malcontent.
No.
Or anything like that. I'm not as worried about that, but it is something.
No, and I'm not super worried about it. I just think that it is something to think about because all I do is immediately when I think of that, I go to the Leo Chu thing where it was like they literally outright said, we're going to sign this player, develop him, and transfer him on for a fee. And they never did that. They never did that. They didn't know how to do it. Then he got pissed because that's what he thought he was doing. And then it didn't happen. And it's never going to happen. And it's never happened in the Sounders history. The only player who's really done that is like Yedlin. I don't know who else could you say that about. Like, that's just not the style of ball that the Sounders play. I mean, Obed potentially now, but he's played 3 solid seasons, you know?
A couple people are talking about 2 striker formation. I do think that is what it's going to look like ultimately. Do we think we're moving Christian to the midfield full time next season? I do. I mean,
defensive mid. Christian.
Yeah, defensive mid. I think with the Ferreira signing or trade and Leo Chu not here anymore. I don't think Christian's services are as needed at right mid, and I thought the Christian Obed double pivot was excellent. I really thought once they started running with that, it was very effective.
Yeah, it was pretty nasty.
Not going to force feed a player to get better stats.
Brian's not going to do that, and that's I appreciate that about him. He's going to put the best player in to win. We wouldn't have the Paul Rothrock arc if he wasn't that type of coach.
Exactly. All right, I think that is about as good a place to wrap up as any. We're at 2.5 hours, so. We're gonna call it a night,
New
folks.
Year's Day.
Yeah, New Year's Day. Happy New Year.
One last shill here, Ari.
Yeah. Go ahead and chill.
If you guys aren't subscribed yet, hit that sub button. Click the bell to be notified when we post new videos or stream.
Help us on the road to 1K subs. We are almost there. We're excited to hit that. But we do need about it was like 80 more.
Something like that.
So it's gonna be huge, man. We're gonna get that ad revenue, which that means ads like on the videos, but you could become a YouTube member.
Yeah, I was
and
gonna say, become a YouTube member. You can get some Paul Rothrock, not Jordan Morris emotes, but you get an angry Ari, angry Noah emote. You can spam those in the chat. But more than that, we do some member exclusive content. We're gonna be building out some more of that in the new year. We just hired an editor, so that's fire. We'll have more content. And
the YouTube, we hired the editor with the hopes that we'll be able to be churning out like even more content from this channel.
Yeah.
And she's also very good.
She is very good.
And like she does a lot of like funny little things in the videos that I think you guys are going to enjoy.
And she's a baller. She plays too. So
she knows ball. She plays ball.
That's that. But yeah, become a YouTube member. It's cheap. You can do it for $5, whatever. Anyway, that's it.
Become a YouTube member. Sub to
centerheart.com/ls.
We're going to call it right there. Thanks so much for hanging out, streaming with us. We're going to do it again soon, hopefully with Nico Moreno. We're also going to be recording.
We need him on.
Show. We need Tom Bogues. But yeah, no, we're going to keep grinding all off season. So we'll see you guys very shortly. All right.
Yep. Thanks for watching, y'all.
Thanks for watching.
Happy New Year 2025. Let's go.